Oh, hey, you guys. Okay, so let me go ahead and get started. I'm sorry for the delay, but I was rendering a video for another one of my channels, and I just didn't want to have too many things going on my Mac at once, and I didn't want to have to log into all my stuff on another computer. So I wanted to just watch this Breakfast Club interview with you guys. Several of you guys came to me and were like, Irene, you know, are you going to watch the Breakfast Club interview with Malik Yoba and the trans people? And after a few of you said it to me, I was like, okay, let me watch this interview. So today I Googled it, I found it. I watched about 30 minutes of it and I was like blown away. I was like, okay, you're right. I do need to do a video on this. So I don't even know where to start. You know, I don't know if I want to start with the fact that his whole motivation for this mess was his lust for a white Hispanic man that has had surgery to look like a woman. Like, I just didn't know where to begin. So let's just go ahead, watch the interview together and talk about it. All right.
Wake that ass up in the morning. The Breakfast Club. Morning, everybody. It's DJ MV Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Now, last week, Charlamagne and I were doing a story. Angela Yee was out in Central Pay. Yes. And Charlamagne and I were confused with different things that we can say, different things that we can talk about when we were talking about transgender. We were talking about a story from Malik Yoba, who's here. He called me and said, Envy, I want to come and I want to have a conversation. We also reached out to our good brother, David, who's been up here a couple times. David Johns. And said, let's have this conversation, a serious conversation where we can ask questions. It's not...
I feel like the one of these guys with the funny eyebrows, whatever his name is, I think he's gay too. Like, honestly.
We can learn and understand everything that's going on because we don't know.
Let's have an educated conversation.
Educated conversation.
Yeah.
Right?
That one.
And we're not educated.
Not at all.
Yeah, him right here. He's wearing makeup and he's gay. He's a whole homosexual right there. I heard he's married. He's a not so in the closet homosexual. This one right here, I think he would transition if he could, if he had the boldness, because he looks like a bottom, he's a bottom. He takes it. I'm positive. I have gaydar. I'm telling you guys, I really, truly do. I can sense homosexuality in people. I'm not even lying.
Nah, so Damon decided to join us this
David,
morning.
man!
That's Damon?
Yes!
David decided to join us this morning. I appreciate that. So let's get right into it. You brought somebody with you, and Malik, you brought somebody with you as well. So introduce your guest.
Yeah, I'll let Brother Yoba go first. No, I'm going to let you go first, brother. Sound like a Muslim, Brother Yoba. You want a bean pie, brother?
So for those who don't know, again, appreciate the invitation. I'm David Johns. I lead the National Black Justice Coalition. We are intentional and unapologetic in standing at the intersections of racial equity and LGBTQIA+ and same gender loving equality. And I want to be clear that
this fool said LBGTQIA and plus, because apparently there are more letters. Literally, y'all, it is actually like 16 letters long now. It's like double A, double I, like it's deep, okay, with the alphabet committee at this point. They are so inclusive, he literally had to say and plus. That is so weird. What's also weird is that this man is part of an organization and the first word in the organization is black. They are coming for us, these gay people, and they're going to use black people to do it. Remember what Margaret Sanger said when she was talking about getting black people to kill their babies. She said, we can't go in there ourselves. We have to train black doctors and send the black doctors in because the black people will trust the black doctors. And this is the same thing that they are doing with this homosexual agenda, because even my man is like, well, they're black people. And I've heard a lot of people here on YouTube who are like, well, they still are black and the color of their skin is going to touch a soft spot in us and have us on the wrong page. So he's running a whole organization geared toward indoctrinating black people. And we're going to let him in because he's black.
when you guys reported this, And when I considered accepting this invitation, I had to acknowledge that this space and conversations had here have been a source of trauma for some members of the community.
That's a fact.
But trans folks in particular, right? And the struggle was,
and just be clear that there are only men in this room except for Angela Yee. Every person in this room, I just want to be sure we all know this, is a man, except for Angela Yee. That blonde white woman, Hispanic white, is a man. The man sitting next to her is a man. All of these people are men. Angela Yee is the only person in this room with a natural vagina and natural breasts, a natural woman. She's the only one. Everybody in the room is men. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 men in this room and 1 woman. We just have to remember that while all these people are speaking, because, you know, they're all done up with surgery and makeup and hair weave, and so it can be hard to tell.
About the best way to ensure that we take advantage of the opportunity that Brother Yoba has provided to make space to have these conversations.
Correct.
And so I both, before we do anything, want to acknowledge both the trauma, as well as y'all leaning into it, listening to it, learning from it, and then making space so that we can heal.
Okay, men, try not to stare at this man's silicone breasts, because that's a man's chest that somebody has put silicone breast implants into. And I know it's confusing because it's cleavage. But just know that when you stare at that cleavage, it's a man chest with silicone implants shoved in it to give it the appearance of a woman's chest. Because he's got his fake breasts all out there, where there should be none. There should just be a hard man chest there. But he has put breasts inside, well, he's put silicone bags inside of his chest to resemble breasts and smush them all together. But I don't want y'all to get distracted by the fact that this man is doing that.
Do better. You're absolutely
I'm all for that.
right.
Amen. Touch and agree. We
With
touch
that in
and agree.
mind,
Amen.
Right, and also acknowledging that, you know, I'm a Black, Savior-loving man, but this is a conversation centering the experiences of our trans and non-binary members of our community. I invited Nala Toussaint, who is a member of our Black Trans Advisory Council. She's a healthcare worker. She's a healer. She's somebody who helps to advocate for ensuring that Black people make space for other Black people. So she joined us today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for coming.
Oh, do I get to introduce them? So yeah, I introduced my the impetus actually for a lot of my activity in recent months and weeks is my good friend Carmen Carrera, who some folks know from RuPaul's Drag Race, and she transitioned on television.
Okay, I want you to hear what he's saying. He's saying his reason for being there is this man right here. This blonde man, and it is a man. I'm not moved by these silicone breasts. This skinny blonde man right here is Malik Yoba's inspiration for coming out. His lust for a white man is why he's all out here in these streets looking crazy. I just want us to not overlook what he's saying, because he gushes over this white man who still has a penis. He gushes over this white man's penis. This whole interview, Malik Yoba is so much on this white man's jock right here, okay, that it is ridiculous. So he starts talking, and the first thing he does is praise this white man and his penis over here.
And she's a hero. She's a superhero. And actually, Carmen is the person that inspired me or made me self-reflect as a person who thinks that they live authentically and lives in my truth. I realized that when I hang around my friends who are members of the LGBTQ plus community, they are a lot more authentic than me. They live in their truth, and they live with their truth with a lot of persecution and abuse, sometimes ends in murder. And as a person who has grown up in New York City, went to Julie Richmond High School, Talent Unlimited program, where 2 kids transitioned. One was Octavia St. Laurent, who ended up in the movie Paris is Burning. I went to school with her, who ended up HIV and you know, drug addicted, and you know, someone who in the later years of her life, I really tried.
I just want to say he's gonna blab a lot, and I want to play this whole interview, so we'll be here for a while. But he just talks and talks and talks. He's so obnoxious. I hate hearing the sound of his voice. He actually gets on my absolute last nerve. He just babbles on and on about wanting penis. It's so obnoxious. Like, we get it. You like penis. You like a man with a penis that has also put in implants. I don't know how long he can wax lyrical about that.
Celebrating life. And I've actually always been a little envious, because I'm like, the Pride Parade for me has always been like, wow, people are just celebrating life. It's not some mythical figure or some holiday. It's just living.
It's called pride too, having pride in who you are as a human being.
And who you are. And so this pride, you know, first I was just drinking the tequila on the float inside. Then at a certain point,
Angela Yee gets on my nerves. She's talking about the gay pride parade is about having pride in being a human being. No, the pride parade is about having pride in smashing people of the same sex. Let's be real. And let's not forget that until a few years ago, NAMBLA used to march with them too. The gay pride parade is every freak in the world. If you want to have sex with kids, if you want to have sex with other women, if men want to have sex with men, it's their pride in being nasty as hell. It is not about pride in being a human being. I don't know where Angela Yee got that. I've never heard that before. Okay. I've been to many gay pride parades. They cannot be avoided in San Francisco. They take over the whole city, and nobody has ever said this is about being human. Okay. That is not what they are out there doing. They are not celebrating humanity. They're celebrating their freakiness. What is she saying?
I had to sit on top of the float with Carmen. And it was that moment.
Yes, Nelly, that's a trans person next to him. Everybody in this room, no matter what they look like, is a man except for Angela Yee. Everybody in the room is a dude. Everybody in that room still has a penis. The only one with a vagina there is Angela Yee. And I strongly want us to remember that, because one of these men has fake breasts, and he's got his breasts, well, his silicone bags that he has shoved in his chest on show. But don't make any mistake, that white person is a man too.
We're going down Fifth Avenue, and folks, mostly black and brown people, are looking at me and looking at Carmen and seeing us sit next to each other. They're drawing whatever conclusions people draw if you sit next to a female. But in that moment, I felt pride. I felt like, oh shit, like, yo, I'm from New York. I've been on Fifth Avenue. So
the whole story he's telling, let me let it play, because they'll probably show him. The whole story he's telling is about how moving it was to sit next to this white man right here. This person with the blonde hair is a man. Don't be thrown off by the cleavage. This person is a man. He has been sitting here talking for 5 minutes about how it was so moving for him to go to a gay pride parade and sit on a float with this white man whose penis has likely been inside of Malik's mouth. He wants us to know that that was the moment that changed his life. He felt proud when he was at a gay pride parade, sitting next to a white man who had had surgery and put on some clothes and makeup to look like a woman. That was when he first felt proud. You cannot make this stuff up. When I saw this interview, I was like, do these people even know what they're saying right now? These people, let's get through the interview, because the stuff that comes out of their mouths, like when you were really listening to what these people are saying, you're like, for real? Is that your story and you're sticking to it?
People and a pride for the strength of the people around me. And so we've been working on a number of things. You mentioned trauma, David. Which is very, very real for all of our communities. And so Carmen and I have a workshop called Love and Trauma, the Trans Experience, which looks at trauma and love, political perspective, community perspective, family perspective, interpersonal And so we've been working on that. We've been working on some book projects, some content projects to tell these stories. And I found out about Trans Visibility March coming up on September 28th. I saw it on Instagram. I hit them up and I said, hey, I want to support. And they said, okay, we appreciate you posting. I said, no, use my name. I want to show up. And they couldn't believe it. They go, why? I said, and I told the story about Carmen. And so
and then he waves to the white man again. Why is it me? I don't know. This just bothers me. It just bothers me that he's rambling on and on and on about how this white man with breasts changed his life. He sat next to the white man with breasts and a penis on a float at a gay pride parade, and the next thing you know, he's completely lost his mind. This is the story that he's telling on the Breakfast Club. He said they have superpowers, y'all. I can't make this up.
Coming out, because I started to say that just.
I think it's called stepping the fuck up. I think it's called stepping up. I think it's called stepping up because there are a lot of black men, and I ain't gonna blow up nobody, but we all know who they are, that are in situations where they are friends, sometimes lovers, sometimes murderers of trans women, and there has been no other cis black man. And for those that are confused about the language, cis is a term from chemistry that means two things that exist on one side, right? So for someone like myself who is heterosexual, who loves women, but I love people, and I hate to see people suffering. It's really, really basic for me. And so it's not about coming out. It's about stepping up and saying, yo, black man, when people want to shame Mr. C, they want to shame Eddie Murphy, they want to shame Teddy Pendergrass, they want to shame folk because of their association with folks. I just felt like, who else is going to be willing to put a target on their back?
I don't think Eddie Murphy ever stepped up.
No one has. No one has. That's my point.
Oh.
That's my point. And I don't want to be long-winded here because we got a lot of guests, but that was just my point of saying, like, yo, like just this past weekend, Labor Day weekend, 2 young people died. And we aren't talking about it.
I saw you were testing. I covered you to say murder because oftentimes we say die, like, but I think we gotta say what it is. It's murder. It's not. They didn't. Yeah, they got murdered.
Yes.
Brutally.
Yes.
Right. And so oftentimes we fluff around they die like as if it was like they naturally die.
Well, forgive me. I didn't mean that.
No.
That's why this space is important. Words matter, right?
Words matter because
it's so interesting watching all these men talk to each other. Like, it's so bizarre to me that they're all men. And 2 of them are, and the other men are just, this is blowing my mind because these 2 people are men dressed as women. And all these other men are just sitting there acting like this is cool. Like, I'm trying to understand. You're not going to check your brothers about wearing makeup and having boobs? Like, you don't want to say anything about that, other men? You're just going to sit there, act like this is normal?
it gives context to like what we as a Black community get to do to step up.
Now the conversation came because I guess you did an interview and out of the interview it said that you were attracted to transgender.
And you know what? So let me just acknowledge all the faux pas I've made. I've been screwing up left and right? Because I thought, it started with, oh man, he's a young man getting taunted in the video. Reese Willoughby, yes.
That was in Philly, right?
Right. It's from Philly, right? And I see this, I'm like, yo, that could have been me at 20 years old. But this kid is like, God, fuck that. I like this. I was like, I wasn't saying that at 20. I knew that I had some feelings inside, like, why is it that if I'm with this, or if I meet a woman, because my first experience meeting a trans woman that I was actually attracted to, but you told me.
Okay, hold on. I want you to listen to his early experiences, because this actually made me mad.
What did you say she used?
I said we should start transforming the language around attractive, because we also have to understand impact versus intent. So when someone hears like, oh, a trans woman like myself, I hear fetish.
Right. So which is a trip, because I didn't know you were trans, right? So I see you in the lobby. I see you upstairs. I see you. I'm like,
okay, so this man is a man. And I want you to watch when he says he thought that this man was a real woman, how happy both of those men get. The blonde man and the redhead man are going to be cheesing from ear to ear because they like to hear other men tell them that they look like women. These men who get surgery and, you know, dress up and wear makeup to look like women, they get so excited when other men tell them that they look like women. Just watch their faces. Their whole faces are going to transform into just pure ecstasy when he starts praising how much they look like real women.
I see you downstairs. I'm like, yo, that's a beautiful woman. That's what I thought. And so
look at her
told
face.
me with trans, I
so
leaned
happy
in to learn. Right? And that's what it is. It's like, so my first experience, I was 16 years old in the club. I meet a woman named Carly Extravaganza. I had no idea who she was. I just looked.
So listen to this. He was 16 years old in the club when he first had an experience of being introduced to a man that dressed like a woman. Imagine how confusing it must be for little boys and young boys, 13, 14, 15, 16, to encounter men who have breasts and wear makeup and present very feminine. And honestly, let me say something, and I don't mean to be graphic. I think a lot of men are trans attracted, trans interested, secretly want to have sex with trans people because of pornography. Follow me. Because when you watch pornography, and there are a lot of documentaries on this, you need excessively, like you need excessive stimulation. And as you're clicking through videos, you may not be looking for it, but they will send out messages. It'd be like barely legal to kind of get you to be attracted to really young people. You might get a flash of a video where a man or a woman, someone who looks like a woman, but still has a penis, is in a sexual act. And it can confuse a man's mind because you're like, I'm attracted to long hair. I'm attracted to breasts. I'm attracted to the women, right? Because women have a certain aesthetic because of how we're built. But then all of a sudden, whoa, there's a penis. So I can imagine Malik is like the first time he saw a trans person was when he was 16. That kind of experience has to disorder a developing sexuality. Because that's some confusing shit, okay? Quite frankly. You tell me this blonde chick is not confusing as hell. That blonde person has a penis, but plastic surgery and makeup and some highlights and a skimpy top, it's confusing. You see breasts, you think female. You don't see breasts and think, oh, there's going to be a penis attached to that person. Anyway, don't let me go on a whole rant.
A Puerto Rican chick in the corner. And we start talking, and she opens her mouth. I was like, wow. And I leaned in. I was like, who are you? Where are you from? And that was the beginning as a 16-year-old. You go, what the hell does that make me? And there was no language. Who do I talk to? Because you talk to your boys, they're going to clown you. Right. You're like, yo, what do you mean? I'm like, no, but this is a human being. Like, she said some really interesting things. And I mean, I hope Carmen speaks up, because this woman here is like a unicorn that has been schooling me left and right. Malik, don't say that. Don't do that. Like little things, like for instance,
also, yourself. Also,
just point the mic in. Just point the mic. I know you guys are sharing.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that introduction. No.
First of all, your nails are fire, buddy.
Oh, thank you. I just walked up that.
Oh my goodness. This gay dude over here wants to have sex with him too. This white man is winning in here, okay? This white man is winning. Okay, Rozzy said it would not confuse me. Well, Rozzy, thank you. I'm glad it wouldn't confuse you, because it's confused a whole lot of people out here. Malik is sure confused. Charlemagne, look at his whole face. Look at Charlemagne's face. Can you guys see his face? Charlemagne, he looks like he might be going through something. Charlemagne looks like he might be into something.
Like Trip.
Yeah, I think that for me, I've dealt with a lot of men that are just too afraid. They don't have the language. They don't, they're quick to, I guess, pass judgment on other men or on trans women, but they're not able to stand up and say, like, yeah, this is what I like. And I'm still popping, and I'm still at, like, for me, I grew up in Jersey. Like, I love hip hop music. I feel like I am just like everybody else.
This is so interesting. This man right here has had his vocal cords worked on to give him a higher pitched voice. That is fascinating. This fool has had surgery so he can even talk very feminine.
Generation, you know, and then to feel excluded all of a sudden at one point in my life when I'm being my 100% authentic self is just wild to me. And then the men that are attracted to us that keep us as a secret and are hella abusive, it's a shame, you know, and we all need love. So when I met Malik, I knew his trans attraction existed. I've heard, you know, stories or whatever, but I wanted to see for myself, and I wanted to see where his mind was at, and I wanted to see where his intentions were being at a pride parade, and I wanted to make a friend, you know, and I wanted to see really like how does his mind work, and why hasn't he come out earlier?
Stepped up.
Yeah, stepped up.
Look, they're saying he came out, and he's like, I didn't come out, I stepped up. No, fool, you came out, you're gay, okay?
Sorry.
Can I offer up a term? I want to offer up a term. We've talked a little bit about this before, but the term we should be using is inviting in. The thing that coming out does, it is a white people thing. It acknowledges that white people get to come out, move to neighborhoods. We've talked about this before. Hollywood, California, Chelsea, New York, Boys Town, Chicago. They then get to draw power from being gay. Most Black and Latinx, Black and brown, LGBTQIA folks live with other Black and brown people, right? In Brooklyn around the Juice Bar.
Right.
Most of us are concentrated in the South, in states where it is legal to discriminate against us based on actual or perceived sexual identity, gender orientation, or gender expression. It is not safe for Black trans folks to come out in the way that is otherwise popularly celebrated in most instances. That's why most Pride events over June are white. That's why most Pride stages.
See, he thinks he's flipping slick, but he's not slick. He's trying to say that there are more Black trans people than we realize. They're just too afraid to come forward. Let me say something. First of all, there's some stuff you should be a little cautious about coming forward with, okay? I don't want to live in a society where every freak in the world feels they could just pop forward and be just socially accepted. That is problematic. Now, we should not harm these people. They are very sick, and I do know what I think should be done, but I'm gonna keep my real thoughts to myself. But he is being slick. No, in the Black community, we are not like the white community. There aren't just trans people just running around rampant and wild in the Black community. That's not why we're not seeing them at pride parades. We're not seeing them at pride parades because the Black community does not want you guys, which is exactly why he runs an organization to indoctrinate the Black community. So he is a deceptive. I'm not surprised though, because deception is a big part of how these people move. Like literally.
The people at the microphone are gay white men. In spite of the reality, that's where Malik is going, that there would not be a Pride anything, there would not have been a Stonewall Resistance without Marsha P. Johnson, a Black trans woman, and Sylvia Rivera, a Latinx trans woman, who also then founded a political movement that led to what we just celebrated more recently in terms of civil unions for white folks, while Black folks still can't get jobs or housing and are dying. And so the thing that we have to appreciate is that so much of this is about language. When we say, when did you come out? It would work if straight people had to offer up a similar response. But it's usually straight people with their arms folded asking, when did you realize you were weird? Right? And then queer people have to offer up some story that's usually laden with trauma, right? And then sometimes that's disrupted. Jason and Adir have a show called Style in Hollywood where they say we didn't have that trauma, we were supported and loved, right? That narrative is never offered up, right? But when you shift it to inviting in,
see, and I don't like, he tries to twist everything. He knows that most gay people have experienced trauma, okay? And he's saying, but you don't hear about the ones that haven't experienced trauma. This is what I'm going to say. Most of these people are traumatized. That is why they have these issues. That is why they are gay. That is why they think that they are men when they are women, think that they are women when they are men. I mean, look, we are looking at, and I'm glad I paused it here. This is why I did that video on what masculine features look like. This is a man's face. Do you see the prominence of this white man's brow ridge? Do you see how where his eyebrows are, how it lifts and pokes off of his face so far? That is how men's heads are shaped. Women have gently sloped heads. I'm surprised this one. Normally, people who get surgery as good as this man has gotten, they get facial feminization surgery where they shave the bone in their face down so that this thing doesn't poke out of their head, because that is a masculine feature. See, it's going to come to the point where we're all going to have to become flipping doctors to be able to tell without taking people's clothes off who is who. That is insane. But anyway, this fool, back to this idiot, he's going to sit there and try to spin a narrative. We know that most gay and trans people were sexually abused. He knows it too. He's like, that's why they always have to come forward with some story about trauma. You never get to hear the narrative about the ones that just led happy, normal lives. I'm going to tell you something. With most of them saying that they experienced trauma, the ones that say they have happy lives, I bet a lot of them are lying. Okay? Because we know that the general story, and if you guys can believe this, gay people have voluntarily done panels with me. I know that's hard to believe, but I have been on panels with gay people. BMT, he managed to get a gay person to talk to me on a panel. Shocks of all shocks. You can go over to his channel and watch it if you don't believe it. And that gay person had experienced sexual abuse. So, you know, he can spin it however he wants, but these people are traumatized, sick people.
Y'all got to do the work.
Let me ask you,
y'all got to find a language and be competent.
When you speak, because, you know, as a kid, you know, we were talking about this the other day. As a kid, term was, let's say, for somebody mentally retarded, that would be the term. But now they're saying you can't use retarded.
Right.
Even for, as a kid, when you would say somebody's small, it would be a midget. But now it's not the term. So are we referring to trans woman? Is it transgender? Like, what is the term that we can use that's not offensive?
So that's an important piece about relationship building, because everyone identifies differently within the community, right? You have some folks who will say transgender women. You have some folks who will say women of trans experience because that's how they feel. And then also you have like when you had Janet Mock, she says some folks reclaim the term tranny. So like, I know for damn sure you ain't gonna call me that, right? Because I don't feel affirmed by that. But for some folks, they take power in that, and we shouldn't take that from them. There's also this term non-binary, right? So we know cisgender is a part of the binary construct. If I don't know what that means, there's
please break it down. Well, I was going to
Malik mentioned the term earlier. So we acknowledge that gender is assigned at birth. People assume that they are male or female, right? And that naturally, God says you're going to be this, that, or the other. But the realistic thing that happens is that when babies are born, my sister just delivered twins. Shout out to them, Jackson Jet. When babies are born, the doctor assigns birth. They pull out instruments. They make educated guesses, right? Like, and sometimes
He needs his, I'm sorry. I was going to say something I can't say on YouTube. This man is on a lot of drugs. I'm mad he said when babies are born, doctors pull out instruments and make educated guesses. Sex is not a hypothesis. Doctors aren't making educated guesses about baby sex. If you have a penis, you are male. If you have a vagina, you are female. They are not guessing. It's not an educated guess. That's not how this works. He's talking about doctors are making educated guesses, pulling out tools and making educated guesses. Really? We just don't know when the baby's born. We don't know. Like, what is he saying right now? He gets on my nerves. These people are actually crazy. Y'all, they are really crazy. Why do we tolerate this? This fool just said doctors make educated guesses about gender when people are born. Well, my best guess is this might be a boy. Really? Is that what we're doing? Like, what is happening with the world? Why does anybody take these people seriously? I don't understand that. When people start making nonsensical ass 3-year-old arguments, this is something not even a 3-year-old would say some dumb stuff like this. Literally 2 and 3-year-olds know the difference. I legit just put up a blog or a vlog with my 4-year-old, and he made a little Play-Doh person. And because the Play-Doh person had breasts, he said it was a girl. Nobody told him that. He just observed that in life. You know what I'm saying? Babies come out of mommies and mommies have breasts. Mommies are girls. Ergo, people with breasts are girls, which is why this idiot over here, while they're going to say body parts don't matter. If body parts don't matter, why did these men go get breasts? You tell me. If body parts don't make you male or female, why are these men running out getting breasts and fake vaginas? Why are these men running out getting breasts, cutting off their testicles, and shoving their penises inside of their bodies so they can have something like a vagina if body parts don't matter? I can't, an educated guess. These fools.
While babies are in utero, this changes. There are times where a doctor cannot actually make an assignment, and those people are called intersex. To your point, it used to be the term that people used to call hermaphrodites, right? And so if you identify with the gender that you were assigned at birth, you're cis. And to Malik's point, scientifically, it means you're on the same side. If you do not agree because a doctor made a decision based on whatever that doctor was doing at that time,
this fool said a doctor made a decision based on whatever the doctor was doing at the time. He has got to be kidding. I can't. You know what? I thought that liberals were in love with science. When did science stop mattering? I just want to know.
You identify yourself, how you make sense of your sexual identity, gender rotation, or expression, you are trans. And there is a spectrum, right, of what it means to be trans. Too often, this conversation devolves back into people thinking about whether or not somebody has a penis.
That's right.
Did he say too often people's conversation devolves back into whether these people have penises? Devolve? Is that devolving? That's so interesting because I am sure the lowest forms of life on this planet will have sex with anything. Anybody with a dog that has not had their little scrotums cut off will tell you dogs will have sex with anything. They will have sex with your leg. They will have sex with a couch. They will have sex with a toy. They will have sex with a boy dog. They will have sex with a girl dog. They will vomit, eat their own vomit, go off and have sex with the leg on your bed. Okay, that is devolved. Evolved life forms care about genitalia and what they put their genitalia in. It is not devolved. It is not devolved. Hold on one second. It is not devolved to care about whether or not the person that you are getting into bed with has a penis. That's not devolved. That is literally and legitimately an evolved thing. I can think of a lot of animals that wouldn't care. I can think of a lot of animals that would not care because they are lower life forms. Hold on, let me share my screen with you again. I'm sorry. Does he even know what the meaning of devolved is? That's what they want us to be like. They want us to be like dogs. Just stick your thing in anything. And they're coming for the men. Somebody was saying, why do they never talk about, women who become men? Because they don't want them. They want the leaders of society. They want to confuse our heads. They want to confuse the strongest in society. That's why they are fixated on the men. That's why they are fixated on getting men to want to have sex with other men. Because that's where the power is. The power is with the males. So if you can get them all twisted up and confused, then your work is done.
Have shit to do with that, which is why I appreciated Malik talking about and using the word attraction. I'm a black, same-gender loving man. I love men, but I have trans attraction. I know bad black women, cis and trans. And some of this is just about using language to make space. Do you find yourself
attracted to cisgender women as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we all do it, right? Whether you get a pass or
here's the thing about language. I think that.
You mean okay.
He asked about sex attraction. You gotta come
Well,
on.
we got you.
Catch
I'm trying to clarify language. You know, what's interesting is that, I grew up with a name like Yoba. I grew up as a Muslim, right? And so I remember going to school and I wore a kufiya and I was told to take it off because.
Oh my gosh, he's mad disrespectful. He's about to bring being a Muslim into this. He is mad disrespectful right now. Don't start dragging. I guarantee you they don't want anything to do with you. He's gonna drag. I can't. Okay, let him talk.
And so even though the principal knew that I was Muslim, they still insisted upon me being something other than what I was to comfort them. Right. And my father was not having it. Yoba means last of the slaves, a new generation. We move through this world with a confidence and, a way of being that says, I don't care what the rest of the world is saying. It's like Nipsey.
Honestly, in theory, hypothetically, not really, but want to choke him out. Because I have never been so disgusted. He brought being a Muslim into it. He brought the Black struggle into this. He is an evil creature. He is a twisted, nasty human being. None of that has anything to do with you being all hot for that white man over there. None of this has anything to do with him wanting to have sex with a man with breast implants. None of this. He's trying to make this sound like something deep and connected into some, I came through a struggle or our people came through a struggle and my last name means this and that. No, fool, you're just a freak. It is that simple.
I'm doing this. I'm saying, they saying that, I'm saying this. And this is my truth, right? So whether I'm Yoba, this is who I am. And the same thing, I think, happens with language around this issue. I make a post and people think it is their responsibility to call me gay. Which I understand.
Which there's nothing wrong with.
I agree. I agree. But it isn't me.
What do you consider yourself?
What do you consider yourself?
He's a cisgender man.
No, I asked him what he considers.
Okay, so I want you to watch those two guys, the redhead guy and the blonde guy. Watch these two men. They look very much like men right here, especially this one. He looks like a whole man. Reminds me of Jeffree Star right there. Watch these two men's faces as these men who want to have sex with them say that they're straight. These men get so happy.
I guess straight based off.
You guess? So there's a gray area there.
No.
What is
You just said yes. You guess.
I guess I'm straight.
I'm straight. But here's the thing. So let's.
It might be another word for it.
But here, let me help you out. So some of my favorite new people in my life are trans men. Right, Teak Milan, who you guys probably know.
Yeah, I had him on my show back in the day.
Okay, Teak.
I had him on Uncommon Sense back in the day.
The dudes from Black Trans TV, Sir Love, and Sir Night and Love More. Like, I've been watching these dudes, feeling like, wow, these are black men. These are black men that have no fellowshipping with other cisgender black men. So I made it a point to reach out to these brothers and say, I want to be friends with you. I want to meet you. Let's sit down and have lunch or coffee, whatever. So I was with Teak about 2 weeks ago. And Teak says, I identify as a queer man. And I'm like, word? Oh yeah, queer for me is, I'm part of the community forever. And, he's saying that it's more of a cultural thing for him. I was like, wow. So, and he only dates heterosexual women, right? Is that the right term?
Yes.
I got it right? Okay, thank you. So I said to him, well, I identify.
This is a damn conversation. Okay, first of all, they don't even know themselves what to call each other. He's like, is that the right term? The guy over there who's hiding his homosexuality with the big eyebrows is talking about, I think I'm straight. Like, these people are confused about themselves. And they want us to accept them, and they don't even know what they are. They're sitting looking for validation from each other about if they can even call themselves what they're calling themselves. This is madness.
The heterosexual male. I love women. I don't want to, it's not about bragging, but I've made a point in my life to really live a well-examined life, and through all my dating of women, I've always really studied what is it about this journey of loving a woman, right? My parents were separated at 10. When I was 10 years old, I didn't learn how to love a woman based on my father. I had to learn it through.
Oh, see? Man, I wish his dad would have been around, okay? Because he needed to learn how to love a woman from his father, okay? Because this fool is confused. He doesn't even love women. He loves men. He loves men that have penises and silicone breasts. There's nothing about loving a woman there. That is a sword fight, literally.
Experience, right? And so I've been very, very thoughtful about what does it mean, to love a woman. And so I've always identified as heterosexual male. And so when Teak said he identifies as a queer male, I said, so does that mean if we both love heterosexual women, does that mean I need to expand my definition of heterosexuality? Or do I take on this new term? And so I'm not comfortable taking on the term of queer because I don't think there's anything queer about me. I live in a world.
It could be a political stance.
It's a political
stance. It could be a political stance as well.
So I consider myself a heterosexual male that loves women, period, end of story. I'm not attracted to the male aesthetic. I am not attracted to men. And so that's where
Okay, so he said he's not attracted to the male aesthetic. And this is what I'm talking about. That's why I mean these people have a lot of double talk. Because on one hand, they will tell you that having a penis doesn't matter. The aesthetics of somebody's genitalia doesn't matter. They are very firm in that penis doesn't mean you're a girl, penis doesn't mean you're a boy, vagina doesn't mean you're a girl. They don't feel that the aesthetics of people's genitals matter. But then in the same breath, this fool will turn around and say he is not attracted to the male aesthetic. What is a penis if it's not a male aesthetic? Really what he's saying, and man, I hate to say this, but feminists, I read a article on here by like a really, really far left-wing feminist. And she was saying that men will stick their penises in anything that resembles a woman. Anything at all that looks like a woman. Men will stick their penises in it. That's essentially what Malik is saying. He's saying it has breasts. This guy has some breasts. He's got long hair. He's wearing makeup and a dress. Even though there's a penis there, I'll have sex with him. Because anything that resembles a woman, I'm going to stick my penis inside of. That's really what he is saying. But again, aesthetics don't matter when it's genitalia to these people, but aesthetics begin to matter when you want breasts. Aesthetics begin to matter when you want to wear makeup. Aesthetics begin to matter when you put on a dress. Aesthetics begin to matter when you grow your hair long. Aesthetics start to matter in every other area, but you want people just to bypass your nether regions and not judge you on that. You want them to judge you by the shaving down of your forehead and the implantation of some silicone bags in your chest. You want to be judged by that, but the minute somebody tries to speak on what's between your legs, all of a sudden aesthetics don't matter. Really? That's very hypocritical.
Very nuanced, I guess is the word.
No, but not really. Just period, full stop.
Yeah. What's that?
Period, full stop. Sometimes we make these things overcomplicated, right? Like, I like strawberry ice cream. I know I don't like chocolate ice cream. I know I really like strawberry, not chocolate, because I've tried both, right? Like, what you're saying is I am a cisgendered, identify with the gender that a doctor assigned, heterosexual, I love women. Man, the comma is because we live in a world where trans people are erased as cis and trans. You are a black man who loves women of color, cis and trans.
Right.
Period. Full stop.
Can I ask a question? How do you determine between a fetish and an attraction? Because I'm sure there's people who have fetishes also, and I'm sure that has to be a whole nother category in life.
So what I was talking about earlier about intent versus impact, right? So fetish.
Man, finally a woman spoke. The only woman there is off in the corner somewhere co-signing this mess, unfortunately.
It's just like when you only want to be with that person in the dark. You only want to be with that person sexually. You fetishizing them, right? Rather than being intentional and actually saying, who are you? How can I get to know you? What are your ways of being? And so oftentimes, because, and I hate to say it, but it's facts, is that, you know, our community has this rhetoric that creates stigma for particularly men, particularly Black men, who can't feel free enough to be with their authentic self, to love inclusively, to love freely. And so what then end up happening is that stigma promotes that fetishization, right? So I can't be seen with you because the hood gonna clown on me.
Right. Or you were friends with Elin Nettles.
Right.
Right?
You know what I'm saying?
Just crown, they killed her.
Yeah,
They killed her. Right? I
We
see you
have to
shaking your
declare
head a
that
lot,
Black
Carmen.
trans women.
What were you saying? What were you thinking?
I'm just listening.
Oh, no.
Because I want to know, like, okay, so
I just want Malik to crawl out of this white man's butt. Okay, I'm gonna need him to take his whole head out of this man right here with his nails done and his ponytail and his implants. I'm gonna need Malik Yoba to withdraw his head from up this white man's butt because it is getting a little annoying.
for me, it doesn't make a man any different if, you know, he's heterosexual and he loves women and he's attracted to trans women. He's still the same person. I still see him as no different than any other man that loves women.
Is there a difference when it fully transitions? Let's say is that a different name that you call opposed to somebody? For instance,
I don't understand your question. You said fully.
I'm trying to say. I'm just going to ask a question. So when you're a man and you transition to a woman, right?
If she still had a
So
penis.
this is problematic.
Yeah.
That is problematic because again, transness has so little to do with otherwise male determined genitalia.
Right.
Transness has little to do with otherwise male determined genitalia, meaning transness has nothing to do with the penis. And yet these fools want to go have their scrotums chopped off and their penises inverted so that they can have something that resembles what women have naturally. It's funny how the penis only matters when they want it to matter. We can't say the penis matters, but they can say the penis matters or take the penis off the table. They don't want you wondering what's in between their legs. And this red-haired dude is about to say something that every straight man should be scared of. He's about to say that he doesn't feel trans people should have to disclose they're trans, even if they are dating, because that is something that you should do when you're comfortable. And you should not fear violence or rejection once you disclose that. See, they're about to get into some weird spaces, so let's let them get there.
We got to get beyond being fascinated with people's dicks. Period. That's not what this is about. This conversation is about people's spirits, making space for people and how they show up. It ain't got shit to do with what they got between their legs.
And also, too, it's like I want to live in a safe place. If I want to go to Pergola or somewhere, you know, and I meet somebody, I don't want to be scared for my life. I should be able to say, hey, I'm trans at the bar and not think any less of me, you know? Like, that's really what I feel like my place in this conversation, because I've met so many men, like, just dating throughout the years, and it's just annoying, and they can literally have the most love for you and want to marry you and take you away and all this, but they will deny themselves and they will put so much pressure on themselves, which just causes a wedge.
They deny themselves because you're a man. This is what I'm talking about. They're trying to make it like there's some grand conspiracy. No. People who are having sex with these men The problem that they have is that they are attracted to you because you are trying to purposely present as a female. But the fact that you have a penis is why they don't want to marry you. Is why they don't want to tell anybody about you. Because it's weird. It's weird for men to go get breast implants and put on makeup and tight shirts to show off their implants. That's not normal for a man to do. So yes, another man is going to hide you because it's weird. Because they're not going to want anybody to know that they're having sex with another man that has breast implants. Because that's really all it is. It's just another man with breast implants and some makeup on. At the end of the day, when it's all said and done, it's another man. No matter how much like a woman they can pass, it ends up just being another man with a penis and breast implants. And yeah, a lot of men aren't going to want that to get out. Because when you really get down to what's really going on, that's not something most people are going to want to share. And you know what? Rightfully so. You should be ashamed. That is like, shame is a good thing. If you feel shame, that probably means you need to stop.
Nyla, a question? Nyla, right? Yeah. I'm sorry. Amongst men, like whenever we see these transgender, women getting killed, like one thing that guys always say is like, "Oh, she must have slept with somebody and not told them." And I don't know if I agree with that, but what do you say to that?
Oftentimes, I feel like that is the rhetoric within our community that there's a conversation about deception, because what you're saying is that someone didn't say, right? Deceiving. Right. Deception does not give anyone a pass for murder, right? At all, right? And so oftentimes, and I'm gonna keep it real,
Okay, so he is saying that deception doesn't give a pass for murder, and he's about to say that he doesn't feel trans people should have to out themselves. I say deception does allow murder in this case, okay? I can't even imagine being a man. I can't even imagine being a woman and think I'm dating a man only to find out that this person is really another woman. But I surely cannot imagine being a man, kissing on somebody, touching on somebody, dating somebody, taking your hard-earned money to take this person out. And then when it comes time to be intimate because they have a penis, they've got to say something that will get you killed. That will make somebody crazy, because no matter how much of a delusion in your mind makes you think that you are a woman, you are a man, and that will get somebody killed. I have to disagree. Like, I am not for violence against gays and transgenders at all, but I will say this. If somebody kills you because you try them like that, you have that coming. There's some stuff you can't be out here doing. So I'm going to disagree with this man with the red hair on this subject. You might lose your life. You would be smart to wear a sign. You would be smart to disclose that stuff from jump. Because somebody will definitely snap. That's very likely to happen and kill you, especially if they've done anything intimate with you, especially if you've done something like give them fellatio because you didn't want to expose your penis just yet. Somebody will kill you. That is something that could really happen. That is placing yourself in a very dangerous situation. I have to disagree with the redhead man dressed like a woman with some makeup on and earrings. I'll have to disagree with him. He's going to get somebody hemmed up out here. He's going to get somebody dead out here. So for the random trans person that would lose their mind and listen to one of my streams, you better tell people you're trans. Deception, I would let the person go on the jury every time. Don't get me on a jury, okay? Because you're going to go free. Don't have Irene be the judge. Because I would free every man every single time. Nobody would go to jail for that. There's no excuses for that. That is playing with somebody. That's like telling somebody you have AIDS after they went into you raw. You might lose your life. some things you can't be out here doing.
To deceive anyone for them to come into my bedroom. Get what I'm saying? Folks will willingly give their numbers. So I also want that to be clear. So I feel like it's a false narrative, right? That to soften the blunt, right? To justify that this person got murdered because they were deceiving. When we have to understand relationship and relationship building takes time before you disclose anything, right? It's about trust, right? So I feel like it's equally about having a conversation with your partner, whoever you're going to engage with.
I think the bigger conversation and why I chose, people are very confused. Like, why all of a sudden this Negro just going to drop this in the middle of us for no reason? There was a reason. There's a march coming up on September 28th. And I was very intentional of posting something that would be followed up with a number of posts with Carmen and I and other members who are going to be at the march. And this thing's going to roll out over the course of a month. We got distracted with some nonsense. And so the goal was to stay on the mission. The other mission is to create the space for men. And I can tell you, I've never had 15,000 people join my Instagram in like a matter of a couple of days, ever.
Right.
Ever. I woke up
I think that Ryan James made a very, very important comment. Ryan James said, you deceive by looking like a woman in the first place. I mean, I can't disagree. Okay? I can't. It is deceptive to walk around looking like a policeman. Somebody might approach you to help them with a crime. You know what I mean? Because something's gone on. It is deceptive to be out here walking around looking like a woman. Somebody might just get triggered because they approached you at all because you were catfishing. Somebody might just lose their mind because they were like, hey, babe, you know, you look good. Can I buy you a drink? And you're like, sure. But just so you know, I have a penis. You might get smacked. You might get punched in the face because you're really a man. So you can take a punch. So I have to agree with him. I have to agree with Ryan James. It's deception from jump the minute you put on some makeup and a dress and got some breast implants. Shaved your head bone down so that you wouldn't have a big brow ridge like a man. That was deception immediately because you present as something that you're not.
Morning, like, what the hell just happened? I didn't realize that, you know, my post was then picked up by Black media, Black social media, and spread it around with, they put some salt on it, people put some dirt on my name, which I was expecting, not the specifics. I was expecting people to take exception to how is this super Negro that has been our hero since the 90s, who was the first Black man in the history of...
Okay, this fool is hella conceited. Whose hero is he? Who is he? I don't, maybe it's because I don't watch television or something. I don't know, but what has he done? Whose hero was he? I don't know who you are. I literally don't know who this man, I'm telling you, let me say this. I have no clue who this fool is. I only talked about this because y'all told me to. I don't know who he is. I only even commented on the little message he meant because he called himself straight. I don't know whose hero. He's nobody's hero. Ultra Black? How is he ultra Black? Can somebody inform me? What did he do to make him extra Black? How do you get that card? How do you get the extra Black card? I'm very confused.
To be in a dramatic series representing the hood the way that I did, proudly, on purpose, with intention. Everything I do in my life is with intention. I was here a week ago, 2 weeks ago, talking about real estate. Why am I intentional about real estate? Part of that is housing, right? One of my favorite projects that I have an opportunity to participate is creating the first LGBTQ plus youth center in New York City for kids of color that does not exist. That's a boss move to say, fuck what everybody else is doing. These kids should not be homeless. They should not be in the streets. We're going to provide housing for them. I'm going to learn the real estate game to provide housing for formerly incarcerated people, for people who can't afford to live in the city. How we
This fool has went on a whole rant that doesn't have anything to do with anything. I mean, he can go off on rants. What is he talking about? He's off on some other stuff now. Gay housing and I mean everything. He's just rambling on and on and on and on.
tell you, I've never had thousands of Instagram fucking DMs from all over.
Spread the good news, said Carmen turned him out. No, but that's really what happened. That's really what happened. That is really what happened. Rozzy, he's been an actor since the 90s. Where? I've not seen him. What did he do? What movie did he make? I don't know who this man is. I don't think I've seen him anywhere. If I did see him somewhere, he must not have done a good job because I don't remember him. What was he in?
The world, Russia, Philippines, Brazil, London, Canada, famous dudes hit me up. Yo, Malik, I don't know how you did it, bro. I don't know how you did it, but please. So back in the day, where I would have to go to find out about the trans community was to the balls. If you ever watch Pose, that whole culture, that was Harlem, 129th Street, between 7th and 8th, 6th and 7th. So I went.
Okay, so he's about to talk about. So remember, he had several experiences with trans people as a child. Now the only two he mentions in this interview is when he was 16, and now he's about to talk about another incident that happened when he was 19. And this is very significant to me for obvious reasons, because he clearly is not functioning the best. Something's going on with him. I agree that Carmen turned him out. He got some white penis and, white booty hole, and he's very confused now. But something else is going on here too. It's not just Carmen's penis that's doing this to him.
Years old when I went to my
What you call it? A black space.
A black space.
I just, again, this is grounded in blackness. This is some unblack stuff.
Right. Yeah. And I went at 19 years old with two cis women I grew up with. I didn't know. I was like, oh shit, this is like a football game and a fashion show. I didn't know what the hell was going on.
So 2 women. That's why women, we have to stop co-signing this. 2 women took him to a fashion show with trans people. Women are a big part of the problem here because we are very happy to embrace gay men and men who present as women like trans do. We're too quick. We will help them.
All I knew was there was some beautiful women.
We will help them pick out dresses. We will help them feel comfortable in public. We'll make them our pets, our pet gay friend. And we have to stop with this mess. There has to be a zero acceptance policy.
And I was like, ooh, what's that? Right? So that was like early exposure. Or you would go to these clubs that they had around New York City. And it would be like one dude in a corner by himself over here, another guy over here, another guy over here, and a girl.
I just can't get over that all 4 of these people are men. 1 man, 2 men, 3 men, 4 men. That's just, I can't get over it.
Running around. And I would just lean in like, yo, I'm just trying to learn who you are. There was no place to do that.
Do you feel like a show like Pose has been beneficial?
Yo, right? Without question. Not only that, because the girls, some of those community, unless we have this conversation. And I just...
Okay, wait. I want to make sure I don't skip over that. Hold on. Because they're about to talk about the benefit of using media to indoctrinate people to the gay agenda. And you guys know that in my home, we don't have televisions. I don't use my computer as a television or anything like that. Our computers are used strictly for the Institute and for my research, for my videos, things like that. And honestly, it is scary. They're about to start talking about all of these people on the trans gay team are about to start talking about the usefulness of media and indoctrination. I mean, they were so comfortable because they were just completely unchallenged on this interview that they start to say some crazy things. If you really are listening to them, their rhetoric is actually extremely disturbing. It's disturbing. I hope that I went back to the place. Let's see.
But what happens when we add music? What happens when we add poetry? What happens?
Dismiss somebody or discount them.
Absolutely.
Say that.
Yes. But the reality is we can have this conversation.
Right.
People can listen to this. They can watch the video. They can go online. They'll still be like, yo, fuck you, faggot.
Right, they will.
Hold on.
It cannot be the case that Matthew Johnson is the only celebrity.
It's almost like when you, right, because we had a point where, like, we have to pray, and I'm not saying we have to, but there's a...
That was Harlem, 129th Street, between 7th and 8th, 6th and 7th. So I was 19 years old when I went to my...
What you call it? A black space.
Black space.
I just, again, this is grounded in blackness. This is not some unblack stuff.
Right, yeah. And I went at 19 years old with 2 cis women I grew up with. I didn't know, I was like, oh shit, this is like a football game and a fashion show. I didn't know what the hell was going on. All I knew was there was some beautiful women in there, and I was like, ooh, what's that? Right? So that was like early exposure. Or you would go to these clubs that they had around New York City. And it would be like one dude in the corner by himself over here, another guy over there, another guy over here, and the girls would be running around. And I would just lean in like, yo, I'm just trying to learn who you are. There was no place to do that.
Do you feel like a show like Pose has been beneficial?
Yo, right, without question. Not only that, because the girls, some of those girls were sex workers. And now they have legit lives as actors, and they get a chance.
Which is also a complicated thing, right? Because sometimes sex work is done by choice, sometimes it's done because you don't have a choice, right? And we need to talk.
So in your experience, because
what not looking like a choice is connected to resource, as you were just saying. The fact, right? Because we had a point where, like, we have to pray, and I'm not saying we have to, but there's appraisal from some folks for him having to come out. There's appraisal for a black man stepped up, right? Invite people in, right? Right, and then for him to also support LGBT, we shouldn't have to do that, right? We shouldn't have to be at a place of praising folks for doing what's right for people,
for other people,
especially black siblings. Because this is a conversation about siblinghood, right? And so, for example, it's not just
apologize to my siblings,
right? And it's not even just about a black brother saying they're attracted. We also have like you said, cisgender people make trans and non-binary babies.
I can't stand them. I mean, the way that they spin this narrative, they're like, oh, it's about blackness. It's about cousinhood. We're all black people and people of color, which I guess that white Hispanic man with the blonde hair is supposed to be a person of color, him too. And, you know, cis people, you know, normal people, you guys make trans people, like, we're your parents, we know, because we're the only ones reproducing. I'm aware that straight people are the only people birthing new people into the world. That's kind of how, well, let me say this. We're not the only people, because now you have people out here inseminating some of these trans people. But for the most part, we are the people creating the next generations. Gay people aren't doing this for us. Trans men are sterile. They cannot have children most of the time. Trans women can if they keep their uteruses. So I don't know. I think it's the other way around. Look, I don't know what to call these people, so I'm sure I'm getting it wrong. But this is what I will say. This does not appeal to me. You know, with all this conversation, you know, like, I gave you life. What was that? What is that saying? I brought you in this world, I can take you out. That's the saying that comes to my mind when I hear some crazy arguments like that. They might want to back down with that cis people gave birth to trans people argument. Because the creator can be the destroyer. I don't know where they're trying to go with this.
What that also means that we need parents. We also need parents. We also need fathers having conversation. And when we're having these conversations with trans women, we have an assumption, because we end up conflating gender identity with sexual orientation, right? And we got to be clear that not all trans women date men.
That's right. Some trans women date women.
I would like to hear from all of y'all on this, because I want to know what's wrong with me not caring. Meaning, like, I don't care who
what you identify as. I don't care who you sleep with. Like, I don't have a problem with it. Like, you're a human being.
And that's the piece. When you say you don't, the intention versus impact, when you say I don't care, it's almost like when I hate to say it, but white people be like, I don't see race.
Right.
And it's like, is the impact, it's like, how do you don't see
have to
race?
support.
Like, I know,
Well,
and you can tell what kind of breed a dog is. You get what I'm saying, if you can tell what a breed, white people can tell what all the breeds of a dog is, how you not gonna care about race? So it's when I hear when you say you don't care, that's mean like you are like erasing my existence.
And at the same time,
This is so weird, right? It's weird that it's crazy to me, like the way that they twist the arguments to feed their narrative. This is what I mean. He can't say, I don't care. Saying I don't care equates to these two men that look like they're trying to be women, the blonde man and the redhead man. It means to those two men that their existence is being erased, right? And they don't like that. But in the same breath, they want you not to care that they have penises. In the same way, they want women not to care that they want to be equal to, and I'm going to say equal to, because as a woman with a womb who's given birth to children, who bleeds every month and has had milk exit her breasts, I'm very offended that they want to be equal to me. No, you will never be an equal to me as a woman. You are not woman at all. You have a penis. They don't want us to care about those things. But in the same breath, there are other things they want us to care about. They don't want us to erase their existence. What about our existence as women being erased? What about men's ability to safely choose a partner and know that that partner is female being erased? Erasure only matters when it's erasing the things that they hold valuable. And that's why I don't like this spinning of narratives. Like in one case, things matter. In one case, genitalia doesn't matter at all. In another case, genitalia matters. In one case, don't be obsessed with our penises. You know, penises don't make people a man. In another place, penises are, you know, associated with manhood. I mean, it's very awkward.
failing to acknowledge that you have the privilege of not giving a fuck.
Right.
Because you get to show up in spaces where the assumptions people make about you and how you think of yourself and show up in the world are aligned with what they read you as. Right.
Well, that's a lie, because this man in the blue hat with the big eyebrows, I would think he was gay if I saw him. I mean, I think he's gay now, quite frankly. So he's a whole homosexual. So I can't imagine anybody else sees that man and doesn't think the same thing I do. He's clearly gay. He's wearing lip gloss, okay? You can't get more gay than that. He looks like he's had some facial plastic surgery too. Something is odd going on. He's very off looking.
There are inconsistencies. You spend your entire life feeling like and being told that you need to shrink, hide, neglect, or apologize for critical parts about who you are. That's what I felt like y'all missed when Lil Nas X said, I did this at a point in my life where I knew the risk.
Right.
And I understood the importance of making space.
Chance X said he's married with kids. And what? Malik has kids and a wife, and he's gay. Being married with kids doesn't mean anything anymore. This man is a homosexual, I promise you. This man with the blue star on his hat, that man is gay. I guarantee it. I mean, if it hasn't come out already, it's going to come out. This man right here with the bushy eyebrows, he's homosexual. I promise you.
Other folks like Nigel.
I'm going to tell you women, get your gaydar on. I can smell fruitiness in a man. I will dismiss a man for anything that resembles femininity. I can smell a homosexual man from a mile away. We need to get our gaydar on, or you're going to be like Malik's wife. You're going to be like his baby's mom. Looking up, wondering why your man is having sex with another man who has breast implants.
So that they don't feel like they're the only one struggling with this. We've had this conversation in the space before that it cannot be the case that Malik Yoba is the only celebrity we know who is trans affected. Just like it cannot be the case that Magic Johnson is the only celebrity we know living with HIV. We got to get over not wanting to talk about this stuff.
That's
and
right.
the other part of it is you asked about whether or not like people are being duplicitous. There's so many people I know who show up and love trans women. They just don't feel like they have the space because of the shame and the stigma.
You just said,
but see what I was gonna say is like I care, and I'm gonna tell you the reason why I care. It's like when I move into my neighborhood, right? White people all over the neighborhood, right? They already have this preconceived notion about who I am because I came from where I came from. And then when they have a conversation with me, it changes. But the thing is, it's like we got to be able to have that conversation and not be like, well, I didn't like the way you said that, because honestly, from myself and I know Charlamagne is, we don't know. That's why I was like,
well, the conversation is important, but I don't feel like nobody should have to explain these.
I agree. And so let me say this though, because I feel like what gets missed in you saying I don't care is that it is not a barrier for you. You see people who they are, you engage with it is not the thing that you would otherwise use to dismiss somebody or discount them.
Absolutely.
Say that.
Yes. But the reality is we can have this conversation.
They're always trying to tell people what to say. I mean, you can't even say what you want. Don't say that. Say this. Like, I mean, this is not, oh my gosh. Like, this is what I cannot stand about these people. You guys watch how this conversation is going. When you guys let them into society fully and embrace all of their dysfunction, they're going to be telling us what we can and cannot say. They can't even stop in this conversation not telling people what they can and cannot say. He's like, well, when you say that, that's a problem. Say this instead. Say that instead. Fool, whose father are you? He can say whatever he likes. Besides, he's on your team. He's gay too. He really should be able to say whatever he likes. We know they can do no wrong.
People can listen to this. They can watch the video. They can go online. They'll still be like, yo, fuck you, faggot.
Right, they will.
And so we know we're not doing this for them. Right? We're doing this for one of the people that reached out, a friend of mine, actually Data, Dominican chick from uptown. I haven't seen her in about 7 years. She hit me on the gram with a picture of her daughter, who was less than 10. It used to be her son. And I was blown.
Who was a side male at birth?
He was side male at birth. And I'm like, wow. She's like, yo, Malik, all I know is thank you very much for your post. Tristan is now Evangelina and living her best life. And she sent a picture and I was like, incredible. Those stories over and over and over. And I'm in the storytelling business. So you know what my next job is. You know.
I mean, I think it's incredible too, but in a different kind of way, like incredibly disgusting, but whatever.
I'm like, we are getting busy right now, you know, raising money right now to tell these stories because it's important. And so for me, I have to come into the space to bring what I bring. And when I think about just this love and trauma workshop, like this is a part of it. Conversation is part of it. But what happens when we add music? What happens when we add poetry? What happens when we add meditation? What happens when we add really intentional activities to lighten the load for people? Because people are going to be coming down to ZC with all of this trauma, years and years and years of the world saying you do not matter. And then here I come, and I know I can't do it alone, which is why last week was a very tough week for me for many reasons. But why in the middle of the storm, I'm actively and intentionally reaching out to healthcare professionals, artists, for the people like I mentioned, Teak Milan, Sir Knight, those folks say, listen, the world.
Why do I just get the vibe he's just so happy to be getting some dang attention? He just is like so pleased anybody even cares about his little raggedy self. He's just talking. This one right here, she's on her phone. What am I saying? This man right here with the red hair is on his phone. He got so tired of listening, he texted somebody. He's just rambling on, and nobody cares about you. The only reason anybody is talking about him is because he called himself straight. Otherwise, nobody would care. He would just be another freak. But, oh my gosh. Okay. Well, let's get back to he might be talking about himself still. I'm almost positive.
But it's also then the responsibility of brothers, cis and trans, queer and otherwise, to stand up and be disruptive.
And the family members.
It's our responsibility.
Right. So my boy, I want to give a shout out because I just had this conversation on the way over.
Y'all acting like real men right now, not letting the women talk. I just want you to know.
Yeah, I'm like trying to Angela. I was like,
throw that out.
Wait, I'm like, Angela, you see that? Like, I have a lot to say too. They doing a lot of talking about that. Don't got the they're actually living the experience.
I was talking about Bell's our responsibility as a Catholic.
The women imposters are so happy that Charlemagne made, wait, yeah, that's the guy in the blue hat, right? That Charlemagne made a joke that included them being women. That just like, they were like, yeah, I mean, they get so excited when somebody calls them women. This red-haired person and this blonde-haired person both have full-on penises between their legs. But the joy that a little joke about them being women brings them is just, I mean, it just, look, the whole room erupted in laughter. They're so happy. And then the one actual vagina in the room has the audacity to go along with this mess. I cannot.
My homie, Kay Bain, who runs Cure Violence out of Queensbridge Projects, and I were just having this conversation this morning. Now, Kay is my little brother. Kay is, you know, him and his brothers, I adopted them, quote unquote, about 23 years ago. They were a musical group. I saw the talent. You know, he was a street dude doing this thing. And I was like, yo, you got gifts, kid. And so he's been my little brother for 20-something years. And he's going on to get his master's degree, working in city government. He's doing amazing work. He called me last week, said, Malik, I've been in your life for 20-something years. Please help me understand. I feel like I should have known something. I'm like, you've met trans women. I just haven't introduced them as that. You know this hairdresser you met? You know this actor? They were trans. You just, why am I going to blow up their spot? Just to, let me finish this. So what Kay said to me,
just like
I
a man.
thought,
I know.
Just like a fucking man.
listen, hold on, because this part is critical. His staff is 80% formerly incarcerated individuals, dudes that have done 20 plus years. He got 20 text messages last week on my account because of what I.
Oh my gosh, Malik wants to have sex with the redhead one. I mean, he has touched, I'm sorry. Malik wants to have sex with that redhead man because he has made every attempt to touch this man. He just was rubbing his thumb all over this man's hand. Now, remember, he doesn't know the redhead guy. He only knows the blonde-haired guy. The redhead guy, he was, you know, trying to get in his pants by giving him compliments like, I didn't know you were a man. You know, I didn't realize you were trans. He was doing all that. Now he's all thumbing this dude's hand. And I don't want to see that. Can he flirt with this red hair person, like not on camera? Because this is a little bit gross. I don't know if you guys have been watching it, but I guess when one man grabs another man's hand and starts thumbing it or rubs their shoulder, all this weird stuff he's been doing this whole interview, because I know these are all men, that is weird to me. Like if I saw two men doing that, I would be like, oh, well, damn. Okay. We're in an alternate universe, like, yeah. But he just, I mean, they're going to be having sex. I'm going to tell you, this dude, Malik, and this red hair dude, I have a feeling that they're going to be smacking penises sometime soon.
I posted. People asked him all kinds of questions. So what Kay did, he took the articles that he could find and had them read the articles out loud and process what it meant to them and what it felt like to them. And they're like, yo, man, why you have us doing this bullshit? He said, if I'm going to be a leader in this organization and step into 2020, we cannot do the work around talking about curing violence and healing our community unless we have this conversation. And I just say that as an anecdote to encourage people who are in confused, antagonistic spaces, like, I ain't trying to have this conversation. Please do yourself a favor and sit with some folks and discuss how you feel.
Oh, you're right. You are right, more. The prostitute did say that he likes black trans. That's probably why he keeps rubbing all over that dude, because he's touching him a whole lot. Like, I would be highly uncomfortable if somebody put that many hands on me. And Belle was saying, the redhead dude looked uncomfortable. And I agree, the redhead dude did look uncomfortable. I still think they're going to be banging penises because, these people often come with the price. Like, just real talk.
Get to the root of why you feel that way, because this is our inheritance. Whether we talk about the real estate, whether we're talking about poverty, whether we're talking about education, whether we're talking about healthcare, check a box. Black folks have all this trauma. So we as the younger folks who've been born in this time without all the information, please.
Did he call himself a younger folk? Did he say we as the young? Isn't he literally the oldest person in that room? Does he not have a gray beard? He said, we, the younger folks. He is in a complete and utter delusion. He has no idea who he is. He must have a viewpoint of himself that is so detached from reality. I just don't even know what he's saying right now. He's legit the oldest person there.
Encourage each other to lean in, to listen, to ask questions versus statements, which is so important in every relationship, so that we can learn more and just simply lift each other.
I have a question for Carmen. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I just want to add to what you're saying. For example, when we talk about trauma, we also have to understand the intersectional identities. Like, so I'm not just Black, right? So I am confronted with racial oppression. And then when I get in spaces where I invite folks to my authentic truth as a woman of trans experience, I'm confronted with another set of oppression, right? And so those happen to be trauma because also is a conversation around access, right? What it looks like to go to the doctor, what it looks like to sign a lease for an apartment, what it looks like to be at a job. So oftentimes that narrative about coming out, right? There's oftentimes we constantly as LGBTQ folks have to invite folks in, right? For example, just locker room talk, right? God comes and be like, yeah, I like X, Y, and Z, right? Assuming that this person that they're next to is a cisgender heterosexual folk. But what if that person that's not their experience? You already in your ways of being excluded their existence by assumption, assuming that every person.
Is this man serious? Is this man really saying that straight people being straight can be offensive because some random person might be gay? We're supposed to just adjust our whole lives for like 2% of the population? Is this for real? This is like if I walk, if I'm in a locker room, let's use the locker room scenario this man is talking about. And I'm like, man, I ran 5 miles today. And there's somebody there in a wheelchair with no legs. Most people have 2 legs and can run. So it's not offensive for me to talk about what the norm is. That's like me talking to somebody with no hands, talking about what I picked up today. Straight people are not about to walk around the world on the off chance that they bump into somebody who's pretending to be male or female. Or that's gay. We can't walk about the world not just talking about regular, reproductive stuff. The thing that we do, the thing that results in more people. We can't just be walking around the world talking about the way that we were designed to be and our experiences in that, and be afraid that the person standing next to us may be outside of the norm, may be outside of what is natural. And I know people get triggered when you're like, it's not natural. Dude, it's not natural. And then people say, but animals do it. We see homosexuality in the animal kingdom. And I'm like, we see dogs eat their vomit. We see animals eat their own poop. We see animals eat their young. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in the wild. A whole lot of stuff goes on in the wild. What does that have to do with us? Are you about to kill your child and eat them because a lion does it? Are you about to throw up and chew it up because your dog did it? Are you about to roll your boo-boo up in your hands and build a hut out of it because a dung beetle did it. Like, a lot of stuff goes on in the wild. Animals are weird. They're animals. We're not animals. We're people. What a dog or a horse or a rat or a cat do has nothing to do with me. Just because we all eat and defecate doesn't mean that everything else we have to do is the same. I'm not about to go rubbing my body all over, the post on my bed because I saw my dog humping the side of my bed. There's a lot of things that animals do that have nothing to do with us. What is this person saying? It is natural to go about as a regular human being and talk about heterosexual experiences. We can't not do that because the person next to us might be abnormal, meaning not normal. I refer back to my rant from 30 seconds ago about natural things. But whatever. You're in the locker room, you start talking about your girlfriend, you might be offending the person next to you because they don't want a girl, they want a boy.
Encounter is straight. Right. Every person that you encounter is cisgender. And so what we're having a conversation about is like really switching language intentionally.
Mm-hmm. Carmen and Nala, because Malik mentioned 10 years old. And another thing that we discussed is like, is that too young to make that kind of decision?
But again, you gotta remember.
Wait, what is going on in the chat? Are we literally having a conversation about if the prostate and the ovaries are the same? Is that a real conversation? Does anybody have hundreds of thousands of eggs used to create new human beings in their prostate? Anybody? Somebody please stand up. Does anybody have eggs that can be used to create other human beings in their prostate? No? No eggs? No eggs there? Okay, then prostates are not the same as ovaries. Like, come on now. We're not going to have these conversations that don't make sense. I don't know what's going on in the chat. But if that's what's going on in the chat, we could just kill that right there. Like, common sense will tell you prostates and ovaries are not the same. Like, totally unrelated. Couldn't be more unrelated. Couldn't be more different. What are they, both ovals? Like, where are we going with this? I don't understand.
Decision is made for us, as Brother David was saying, is that the assumption about who you are is assigned to you by the doctors, right? Mm-hmm. Of your genitalia. Mm-hmm. So
but you know who
to the
you
extent
are.
that one can.
Right. That's what it is. And that's why, because we did have a whole conversation about this, and you identify with what you identify as.
At the point at which you were able to do so. So some of this is, so to be clear, what the science says developmentally is that kids as young as 5 years of age, I taught kindergarten, it happens around that age, are starting to make sense of who they are in the world around them. It could be the case, however, if you don't live in New York, where you don't have access to the spaces that Malik talked about, organizations that exist when you have resource-rich opportunities, you live in rural America where people think Black people and Black queer people don't exist, you might not encounter somebody of trans experience. That's why a show like Pose is so important.
Ooh, okay, this is the part of it I was talking about. So he's saying, if you're not in a major city, if you're not Irene, okay, who grew up in San Francisco, motherland of all homosexuality, then you may be lucky enough to go your whole life without people throwing a parade once a year, and twice if you count Halloween, to encounter individuals who are like this. Right. So this is why shows like Pose with very passable transgenders are so important. This is what this fool is literally sitting there saying. Because their programs are programming, and they program your minds. So this is about to be a very interesting part of the conversation that I found fascinating. And literally, this is the part of the conversation, along with when the red-haired dude said that he doesn't feel people should have to expose that they're transgender right away. This was the part of the program that kind of pushed me over the edge and said I was going to sit down and we were going to talk about this video. Because media plays a huge part in this. And this is why I am so anti-media. This is exactly why I'm so anti-media. But let him tell how the gay community uses media to indoctrinate people. The people who they can't get because they don't live in urban areas.
Shifts you having to be able to literally engage somebody in a discussion like that.
And you take folks serious,
right?
So what about y'all? When did y'all? I don't know. Like, I'm don't want to use the wrong language.
Tell me why. Why is this important for you? Yeah, why is this important for you?
Why you gotta know the when and the
why is it important for you? And
only because of the youth aspect to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, only because when you see young, kids identifying as different genders, I'm wondering if they really feel that way or now they have the choices.
When did you know you were what you are? No. Don't do the black. So when did you know that you are who you are?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Why do you expect us to be able to offer up a similar story? So this is again the problem that we're talking about, right? Like these assumptions, and we play these things out without thinking.
See, that was a trick question. So he's like, when did you know that you are who you are, right? When did you know you were a man or a boy or a girl or something? That's really what he's saying. And Charlemagne, who's homosexual, which is why he really can't answer any of these questions, real quick and with any sort of sense. He got stumped on the, what would you consider yourself question. He didn't know what to say because he was probably feeling convicted, like maybe he should come out, and then rethought it. He got stumped on this question. So let's just put Charlemagne aside because Charlemagne is a closet homosexual. But what I will say is that he is trying to play games. The thing is that people don't have to learn that they're male or female. Now, we can teach the words male or female, but as a mother of many kids, you guys know I'm old. My oldest child is 24. I keep saying that because I want to say that if anybody knows children, it's me, because I've given birth to a lot of them. And I've seen them be 1 and 2 and 3 years old where they recognize on their own that men and women are different. Why? Because we have very different body parts. My sons can see at the age of 2 and 3 that they have something dangly between their legs, and daddy has something dangly between their legs, and that mommy doesn't. Mommy has bumpy things on her chest. Bumpy things that they remember because I breastfed. You know what I'm saying? So really with my kids, the first identifier was breasts. Everybody with breasts was a mommy to them. They didn't call us women, but my kids would often call women with breasts mommies. They just assumed that if you had breasts, that you were somebody's mommy. And mommies give babies milk. That's not something anybody has to be told. And then, the little girl can look at her mommy and go, oh, I look like that. I have the same bits and pieces as mommy. I am like a mommy. I have the same bits and pieces as daddy. I am like a daddy. You don't have to. Children know from a very early age. Around the time that children can become self-aware of their bodies, they recognize the differences between male and female. And the natural proclivity of children is attraction to the opposite sex. How many people can attest to seeing little boys that are very fascinated with women? Little ones, like little 1, 2, 3, or especially a breastfed baby, a breastfed little boy. Breastfed little girls, not so much, but breastfed little boys, you will see they will give women hugs. They will like to put their heads. They don't mean anything by it. It's not sexual, but they have learned to garner comfort and a level of attraction to the female body. That's how we naturally orient. That's how we get that saying, daddy's girls, that little girls love their daddies. We naturally orient healthily. That's why these things are deviancies, and that's why technically gender dysphoria is a mental illness. It literally is a mental illness. But how we treat that mental illness is the problem. But Charlemagne, who's a closet gay person, when posed with that question, this gay man over here, who's the leader of an organization designed to indoctrinate Black people into accepting this mess, the guy in the white t-shirt, that's his job. He didn't know how to respond to this man's question because they're trying to use trickery, and they're trying to say that children can consent and children can say that they don't want to be the sex that they are. Let me tell you something. Literally today, my little boy thought he was a ninja. Literally today. He insisted that I tie him up like a ninja. He had a very specific design that he wanted. He felt that the face thing I did for him was not big enough or low enough, or something I did wrong with it. He adjusted it. But he's 4. Clearly, the child is not a ninja. You know what I'm saying? But this is the argument that this little sicko is about to make right now. And I'm going to call him a sicko because when they start talking about children and wanting to bring children into this conversation and this weirdness, that is problematic for me. Children should be children. There's no sexuality to a child. Children don't have sexuality, not in the way that adults do. And because they lack the ability to have sexuality in the way that adults do, they lack the capacity to consent to anything that is tied to sexuality, be that transgenderism or sex itself. And these people are not sneaky. But let's go ahead and watch them try to slide this on in, because you know they can't have a conversation if they can't come for minors. That's something that cannot go on.
The impact, right? Like that process is intimate. It can run time. I have been in relationships with women before I identified as the same gender loving Black man. It's not only complicated as fuck, it's not something that people should be expected to regurgitate on command, especially when you can't do it.
Right.
So why? So
when you know, you know.
You don't know
When
what
you
As you know, right? Because that's what you ultimately gonna say. I just know. And so we have to trust that right now, kids, the vast majority of kids in public schools are racial ethnic minority students. The vast majority of kids in high schools identify as anything other than strictly heterosexual. They're not saying they're gay. They're just saying that the ways that y'all's brains are working, because y'all been wired that way, don't work.
It's the way that we've been wired. Because as we've always been taught and always looked at it, if you have a penis, you're a male. If you have a vagina, you're a woman. If you have a penis, you go to a men's bathroom. If you have and there's people.
Or if you're Black, you're guilty.
If you're exactly.
Oh my gosh. Really? 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 Is this what we're doing? We're doing this? This is where we're going to go? If you have a penis, you go to the male bathroom. If you have a vagina, you go to the female bathroom. Or if you're Black, you committed a crime. Yeah, that's the natural progression of that conversation. That made sense. That made all the sense in the world. Being Black and committing crimes and having a penis and using a male's bathroom are exactly the same. I mean, but they're not going to stop there because, you know, Mr. Gay, this homosexual man right here has opened up the Pandora's box of their secret weapon, which is dragging Black people's struggle into everything. As if our struggle has anything to do with these two men wanting breasts.
If you play that out, if you wear your clothes a certain way, people be like, oh, that person likes hip hop. That person's into rap. That we do this as a society, and I think that what we're asking of ourselves.
So, being Black and wearing certain clothes is the exact same thing as expecting people to go to a bathroom because they have a penis or a vagina. Me wanting people with penises, be they inverted or not, to go into bathrooms for other people with penises is the same as wearing baggy clothes or being Black and being stereotyped. There is a transgender YouTuber here, a transgender here on YouTube named Blair White, who actually tried to show how this was silly. So Blair White is a guy that still has his penis. So Blair still has his penis, And Blair has breast implants. Blair has also had facial feminization surgery. So I think he has a video on it. He had his brow ridge done. He had his nose done. And I believe he even had his jaw broken and shaved down. So Blair looks pretty passable as long as he doesn't stand up. And so he did a video where he went into the men's bathroom. Now Blair has a penis. So the men's bathroom is where he could use it. In fact, he even joked about using the urinal, which he should have done. I wish he would have done it because he has a penis, so he can use a urinal. And of course, the men in the bathroom were looking at Blair funny because it's confusing. You got this guy walking there with long weave and breast implants into the men's bathroom. That's confusing, but Blair does have a penis, so that's where Blair belongs. Then Blair went into the women's bathroom where there were no women and obviously had no experience whatsoever. And the moral of the video was that it's silly for transgenders who can pass to use male bathrooms because men will look at them funny. My thing is, once you pull your penis out and start peeing in the urinal, they'll understand why you're there. You feel me? Once you pull your penis out, there's not going to be any more confusion about why you're in their bathroom. But nice try. Like, I like that play, the pull bathroom thing. And Blair is a very dangerous one because Blair has a lot of conservative talking points and a boob job. And I just see the confusion in the chat under Blair's videos because half of these people want to have sex with this man. You know what I'm saying?
And each other is to elevate our consciousness. I think the question is fair, even if it's a difficult one to answer. It is fair because that's one of the first things I would ask a trans woman. I'd be like, yo, because I wanted to know, because the thing is, if you find yourself language, Nyla says maybe use the word like trans amorous or because love. You said.
I say it means the same shit,
But you also said, but amorous or love.
Changing trans attracted to love because love invites folks to really contextualize compassion, empathy, building, trust. When you're saying attracted, the impact that is being heard is that you're only acknowledging my physique.
It's close to the conversation we started earlier about whether or not people are being deceptive and duplicitous. But I just want to.
So the redhead man said, "You're only acknowledging my physique, and that's problematic." Here's the thing, though: if having your physique acknowledged is problematic when the focus is your penis, why is not having your physique acknowledged when you go out of your way to look like a woman not a problem? Do you see what I mean? Like how they make contradictory arguments where it fits. You don't want your physique assessed below the waist. You don't want your penis assessed, right? What you want assessed is your boob job. What you want assessed is your weave and your makeup. What you want assessed is the earrings, the woman's earrings you put in your ear, or the woman's makeup that you put on your face. All that physique can be assessed, and people can worry about that because that's the part you want them to focus on. But the minute somebody wants to talk about other parts of your physique, that becomes a problem.
This is hard stuff.
Yeah.
Right, which is why you have to ask these questions, right? But so much about this is appreciating that at a point in time we needed to make these assumptions. Right. When we didn't have the ability to sit and community with people and build relationships, it was fight or flight. You were encountering somebody, you had to figure this out. Physiologically, the thing that we are wired to think about first is gender. Right? And women, again, thinking about privilege and oppression, often have to think about gender because they then have to think about ways to protect themselves. The way that you then take the next step thereafter is different if you are a person of color, if you are small, if you are trans in a certain way. So some of this is natural. It's reflective. I'm not trying to beat up on somebody or anybody who's struggling with this, listening or watching. That's a natural feeling. Mm-hmm. What we are asking is that we do a better job of asking why. Why do teachers have boys line up on one side and girls line up on the other without acknowledging that there are babies who don't fit comfortably into either of those categories, and you can ask them to solve a math problem?
What? Why do teachers have boys line up on one side and girls line up on the other? We're just supposed to reorder society for a bunch of mentally ill people? Why should all society conform to their mental illness? That's not how this works. This is not how it works. We're not going to just start twisting stuff up for schizophrenics and paranoid delusionals and, sociopaths and psychopaths. We don't have time to switch stuff up for everybody with the mental illness. The world cannot revolve around the weakest link. Why? I'm trying to understand. I understand why the wealthy people are doing it. I understand why the politicians are doing it, because half of them are into this mess. Why are common people, the everyday people, the peons of society who outnumber by millions, the weirdos of society, why are we tolerating these conversations? How does the Breakfast Club even still have a show? This can't be the first weird thing that's questionable that they've done on this show. This cannot be the only thing that they have done. I mean, that is just some food for thought.
Right? Why do we ask boys to go in one bathroom and girls to go in another publicly when y'all bathrooms at homes are inclusive bathrooms? They are trans bathrooms.
Wait, did he just literally compare a public bathroom where countless strangers all use the same facilities to the bathroom in your house? It's okay. Look, I'm from California. I keep saying this because California is the mecca of gaydom. There are bathrooms in many cities in California that are unisex. I don't mean family bathrooms. I mean like going to a restaurant where men and women all use the same bathroom. That's California. We have people walking around basically naked outside. It's legal to wear a sock over your penis and nothing else in San Francisco. So we're hardly the barometer for bathroom etiquette, okay? We don't even have etiquette for just being in public clothed. But comparing a public urinal where countless people who are complete strangers all pee together to a urinal used by your family and friends and people who have been invited to your home, making those two things equivalent is retarded. I mean, that's just dumb. I mean, these are not even real arguments. This is really stupid stuff. And they're getting zero pushback. So they're just on a whole weird tandem of stuff that makes no sense at this point.
So what I was saying, like you said that, there's a boys line and a girl.
That could be a money
Stop
thing
doing
too.
it. Stop doing it. I'm an educator. We say to teachers, don't do things that don't make sense.
That could be a money thing too, though.
What's the money?
The bathrooms at the house, because I might just can only afford one.
Oh Jesus!
But
I'm saying, but it is. But that bathroom is a trans bathroom.
I'm serious. I don't want my kids in my bathroom. Like I do.
That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is the fact that people policing people's bodies based on what bathroom they can go into. And what I said to my mother when she didn't understand it, because she again heard the fear. The lies that people tell, if you let the world explain who we are and how we show up. She said, I don't want a trans man in the bathroom with my niece. Without, again, acknowledging that people who are most likely to perpetrate crimes against children know them, right? And the reality is that every bathroom that she experiences that's not in a public space is an inclusive bathroom.
Now I'm confused. I thought a trans man was like
As a woman, Teak is a trans man.
Yeah. So why wouldn't you want a trans man in the bathroom?
Because people are still because
people think that trans men are pedophiles.
Wait, so this dude is a woman too? Wait, I'm confused. Wait, so is this dude in the white shirt really a woman? Is that just what Charlemagne said, y'all? Am I missing something? Did Charlemagne say, Teak, aren't you a trans man? And he said, yeah, and threw up his hands. And then I paused it and said, is he a woman? What in the Confucius hell? What is going on? I got so caught up in the tangent that this man was having over trans bathrooms at your house. Is that dude a woman? Does anybody know? He does have a very flat brow ridge, and I have been fixated on that this whole time. I'm not even going to lie. I have been fixated on it this whole time. I've been fixated on it. But because he did not say that he was a woman, I figured he was probably just a very, very gay dude. What in the heck? I'm totally lost. This is confusion.
The same way that people think that men who teach kindergarten are pedophiles, right? Like, people make silly assumptions because we don't have time to have this conversation.
So two things, if I can, we talk about.
No, let the women talk.
Okay, yes, sir.
What was the question?
No, I just want to say about men and where we are. Like, I was in the barbershop the other day, and my barber's, telling me what his experience was like last week, because he's my barber. So people come to him with a lot of questions. And I said, funny thing is, we come in the barbershop, and for men, we will often talk about sex, right? Yo, man, you sure? Yo, you getting it? But we don't talk about sexuality. We don't talk about the nuance in sexuality. And so I think that's a great place for us to start, because just from a statistical standpoint, if you got 5 or 10 men in a room, percentage-wise, somebody's questioning their identity. Somebody's questioning their sexuality. But we don't create those safe spaces for men to do that.
We should all question. How do you know unless you question? We should all question.
It
Again,
goes back to that
the way
locker
that we
room
even think
talk.
about that is
David, you're cutting off a woman.
Yeah, thank you. It goes back to that locker room talk.
Wow. I just can't. He said, you're cutting off a woman. And then all of these men start laughing because they know that redhead dude has a penis. Oh, ha, ha, ha. That's so cute. That's so funny. Notice they get excited every time it happens. R said, what the hell is he talking about? What the hell is he talking about? That is the question of this hour.
That I was talking about earlier is that when you have those.
Wait, Ryan. Okay, I missed the chat. So he is a transformer. He is a faux man. Oh, that is so interesting. And he has children. Truth? Wait, he is a she. See, this is what I'm talking about right here. Great Black said the entire panel in that room are all abominations. Well, I can't lie. I mean, you said it, and I have to agree with it.
You're making assumption around social contact that everyone in the room is straight.
Right.
And so that makes it hard for them to invite you to their being, their lived experience. Yeah. And so that's why when you say you don't care, what that does, right? For example, I'm going to kind of shift the conversation just a little bit. For example, Bailey Reeves. I hope I'm saying her name right. Reeves, 17-year-old from Baltimore, right?
I'm sorry, that got killed.
Right.
That killed him.
The cognitive dissonance about.
Oh my gosh, he's rubbing on her again.
He got murdered, shot.
He wants to sleep with this man so bad. He keeps rubbing on him. Literally every single time that he has the chance to grab on this man, he is. And this guy keeps trying to pry his arm out of Malik's hands. But Malik, he two-handed it this time. This is like becoming soft porn. He's been rubbing on his back, thumbing his hand. He just did that whole thing where the guy had to basically rip his hand out of his arm. He's so in love with him. I can't. We're watching how trans flirting in public spaces goes. I'm gonna have to go with the group of people who aren't for public intimacy if this is gonna be what we're subjected to.
Right.
Oh, but I do want to say this because I got thrown off by the touchy stuff. The idea that it is problematic to be in a room full of people and speak on experience as a straight person because it may alienate the people in that room who may or may not be straight or may not really be what they look like, because that's what this conversation is really about. That idea is problematic in and of itself. I go back to my earlier, comment. If you talk about all the wonderful things you did with your hands today, you're not going to stop talking about what you do with your hands on the off chance that you might be in a room with somebody with no hands, because the no-handed person is the abnormality. So you can't not engage in normal discussions because abnormal people might be present. And I stand by my definition of abnormal, in that it is unnatural and therefore abnormal. And I stand by my earlier definition of unnatural, in that it's not the natural way that we are designed to be, because it doesn't result in creation of another life, barring abnormalities such as sterile people. Now, with that said, yes, there are a lot of things in nature that go on that are quote unquote natural, but humans don't engage in them. So I don't like that this man is circling back around to this original argument. As I said before, some animals, you know, when they get into a relationship with the animal that already has cubs or, you know, calves or something, they murder the pre-existing children. We're not going to start killing off our girlfriends and man's, you know, kids because it goes on in nature. Some animals, like dogs, will vomit and lick up their vomit. We're not going to start licking our own butts and eating our own vomit because dogs do it. The dung beetle plays in poop, but we're not going to all start playing with feces because the dung beetle does it. So a lot of things are quote unquote natural. But the idea that we're going to conform for the unnatural behavior in mass is problematic. And weird that you would even expect this. Nobody else of a marginalized group expects this. Some women don't have breasts, but we're not designing clothes for all women with consideration of women who may have had a mastectomy or may be super flat chested. That's not how the world works. We pander to what is the norm. We pander to what is most common. We pander to the expectation. We don't pander to the minority.
17 years old, baby, teen, right? And so oftentimes in the Black trans community, it's particularly Black trans women, we don't even hit the age 35. It is a blessing to hit 35. Then we have Florida, right? I think her name is B-Love. B-Love, right? 23. The way she got murdered is insane.
That's when we got tied up and
burned till she was unreckonable. Like no one could recognizable, right? So there is something within.
So you guys know I am not violent. I'm not for violence against trans or gay people. But I will say what I said earlier. Somebody in the chat, I can't remember who it was, said it very eloquently some time ago, that even presenting as the opposite sex is deceptive. And so if you are presenting as the opposite sex, that is a form of deception, and you never know what a person's reaction will be if their desire is not to be with another man. Okay? If you are presenting the opposite sex, and as the red-haired man said, you don't disclose that initially because you don't disclose, as he said, everything to people all at one time. And you disclose that and somebody snaps because you've given them head, because you've given them kisses, because they've gone out in public with you, because they thought you were something that you are not, despite your delusion. I'm not saying it's right to set somebody on fire, and I don't know the circumstances of this particular trans's death, but what I will say is people do snap. What is a sort of, you know, situation that calls for sort of laissez-faire attitude, a kind of whatever, it is what it is sort of attitude to somebody like a trans person who will be a man who will go put silicone bags into their man chest to mimic a woman's body, or who will wear makeup, or who will wear a dress, or who will do what we watched a couple of days ago here on this channel, where we went into depth on that surgery. A person who does that obviously is going to have a different set of standards and what is not going to be a big deal to them. But a person, a man who does not want his penis flopping around in a bed with another man, a person like that might literally snap. Because if the furthest thing from their mind was kissing or touching or whining and dining another man, breast implants aside, shaved brow bone aside, long hair or weave and makeup and dress aside, or like this blonde-haired white trans person here, push-up bra and exposed clothing aside, some men aren't going to care. Some men will snap and try to destroy you in a fit of insanity. And I have already said I couldn't be the judge because they would get off every time. I would release them every single time. Because as the brother said in the chat, even the presentation is deceptive. And for some people, that in and of itself could push them over the edge because it is abnormal. It is not natural for a man to be walking around with D-cup breasts. When a man sees somebody that presents as female with breasts on their chest, they think they're getting a female because that is how you are presenting. Despite the fact that earlier they were saying they didn't want you to pay attention to aesthetics, meaning don't pay attention to my penis, literally. So again, I do not agree with violence against these people, but I do think that you can put yourself in a position where somebody might be violent to you because you are engaging in an act of deception as a way of life.
Our community, that we're not having conversation about how we protect all women, particularly all Black women.
Or the men. I mean, because let me tell you something. Like, I have felt.
They're not women, though. So they need Black male protection. They're not women.
Vilification. I felt a lot of love, so I just want to acknowledge that. But, you know, there's been a few times in my career where my public life, where a personal choice, whether it's dating a white woman, whether it's choosing a character in a show.
Spread the Good News said living by omission. Exactly. It's living by omission. That is why passing is so important to so many of them. That's why being called women is so important to so many of them. Because they want the deception and the omission of the fact that they literally have penises. Whether those penises are outies or, as we clearly saw in that medical video, whether they carve a hole in their body and flip their penises literally inside out. Because we watched that doctor flip the penis inside out ourselves. And then shove that penis up inside of him. And then sew the outside of his penis skin onto the inside and do some stuff to it so it wouldn't grow hair. Can you imagine putting your penis inside of another man's penis and it being hairy in there and what you thought was a vagina? See, that's how somebody will get set on fire. Like, real talk. I mean, you guys heard the medical video. They give the skin laser therapy so that it lowers the chance that it will grow grow hair in the neo vagina, as they call it, the inverted penis. I mean, somebody might set you on fire over that. I'm telling you, like, that is exactly how people get set on fire. That is some wild crap. That is not something you can spring on a person or just have an open, like, everybody should accept this. Everybody's not going to accept that. It's insane to think everybody would accept that. That is delusional. You're hella far off into left field somewhere. on a whole nother level, okay? You're so crazy, you will let a doctor cut off. Literally, we saw a doctor completely remove a man's scrotum. Just take some scissors and snip that crap off. That was insane. You're off in way far deep left field somewhere. You cannot expect people just to be okay with that. That is absolutely insane. You can't expect people to call you a woman when you literally have to get your scrotum cut off. You can't expect people to call you a woman when you actually had to go to a plastic surgeon, have balloons first inserted into your chest, like stretch out the skin a little bit, because you know men don't really have breast tissue like that unless they're fat. So a lot of these men have to get a pre-treatment to even accommodate a breast implant to look like they might be women. You don't get to be called a woman at that point. No, you're a man with breast implants in a very literal sense. And this equivalency to women, protect all Black women, I'm disgusted by that. I cannot see that these two trans men or trans women, whatever they're calling themselves, these two men sat in a room with a bunch of Black men and barely had a chance to speak. These Black men were falling over themselves so much to defend and petition their cause. What kind of sexual acts are they doing together that they are going so hard for this? I truly don't understand it.
Whether it's, getting let go of a show like an Empire where there's rumors that I was, crackhead, it's very painful.
He might be a crackhead, y'all.
You sit in this eye of the storm and people come for you. When you talk about Black women, I'm talking about Black men, like my fraternity, well, my former fraternity. I'm gonna blow them up right now. Phi Beta Sigma. We had an executive director that was murdered like that young woman you're talking about. He was gay. He was running for public office in Louisiana. Because we don't have...
Miss Red said they have to take hormones the rest of their lives. Yes, they do. Or these female impersonators and male impersonators will revert back to the sex and as far as presentation, because they never change sexes. They can only impersonate. It's a good impersonation sometimes, but they are impersonating. They can only impersonate the opposite sex as long as they are on high levels of hormones. And let's not leave out the sterilization aspect of this. It does sterilize many of them. So they lose the capacity to even reproduce. The longer they're on the hormones, the further that is a problem for them. And of course, the ones that do the bottom surgery are fully sterilized. They can no longer reproduce.
Culture, even within an organization like Phi Beta Sigma, that slogan is culture for service and service for humanity. You have a gay leader who has to then go and live in the shadows, make poor choices based on that. And he was murdered like that young woman. No one stepped up. And as brothers. And so as I've gone through my storm recently, those brothers didn't step up for me. They stepped away. And so, and they publicly acknowledged that.
When they said something publicly,
they did. They went public. And they said,
we're talking about the brother organization to the sorority that also talked about defining Black womanhood as...
But let me say this though, because so some brothers...
But Black womanhood does only belong to real women. What is I don't understand. I don't understand this. Black womanhood does belong to actual women. Women born with vaginas and ovaries and a uterus and breasts naturally that have milk ducts in them. Women who give birth. Women who bleed every month. What is wrong with that being the definition? I don't understand. What is the problem with that? I mean, with the exceptions of individuals who are naturally sterile. but they are the exceptions. I think we can say the standard for womanhood are those things. Why is it offensive to not want to include people who have penises? Make it all make sense. You getting breast implants and feeling like you're a woman does not make you like me. That's not what you are. Not the same experience. You're still a man. You still have a penis. None of them don't have their penises. These people aren't chopping their penises off and sewing, and it's a smooth down there. They either have a penis that hangs out or they have a penis that's shoved in, but they all have penises. That would be the opposite of being a woman. The complete and total opposite.
In the organization have hit me up and said, yo, that is a travesty, because within the leadership of this organization right now, there's inappropriate behavior. And I'm not trying to blow anybody up, but
hypocritical, not inappropriate.
This is what hypocritical, right? And so at what point do we get really comfortable being uncomfortable so that we can make everybody comfortable?
And we can all get free.
Because I had the same conversation. I was telling you, we're going to be in D.C. at the Congressional Black Caucus this week. I was on the phone a couple of days ago with Congresswoman. I love her, Frederica Wilson. She's like a mom to me. And she read some stuff online, and I had to clear it up for her. And she said, baby, you're going to come to the town.
He's talking about she read that he was raping children. That's what that's what he means. She read he was raping children and had to make sure she wasn't going to be aligning herself with someone who was on a little too much weirdness.
This week I said, yes, I'm coming to the town hall because we have to continue this work. And it's not just about the conversation. So when I'm talking about it from a political perspective, we're sitting with our elected officials and saying, what resources do you have in place, or what policy are you putting in place to protect these babies?
The most vulnerable.
Malik, a lot of brothers in New York, I heard it this week, they was like, we always knew Malik was into trans women. Trans-attracted. And they was like,
so were they. That's how they know.
And it was like, no big deal.
That part. You missed that part.
Yeah. And it was like, no big deal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, whether people know or not, I mean, it doesn't, it's, what does that mean? It means I love women. Mm-hmm. Yeah, everyone knows Malik.
That is not what it means. It doesn't mean that you love women. Why does he keep saying that? They have penises. If you rip your clothes off next to somebody and their body is exactly the same as yours, except for they have breast implants, that's not a woman. That's still a man. You can see the penis. And we know that he likes the penis to be present, because he himself said he is attracted to women who still have penises. Not that that sentence makes sense, but he said it, not me. A man with long hair, breast implants, and a penis is not a woman. Those things are not equivalent. You don't love women. You love men, but you like men with breast implants who wear makeup. Let's be very clear. That's his fetish. His fetish is men with breast implants and makeup. And let the chick impersonator that he allegedly raped tell it. He likes black men with penises that are intact who have breast implants. Like, he has a very specific type. So how you can say you like somebody with a penis and then go on to say I love women and be referring to said man, I just don't know. But we have to be careful with this trickery. You know, they were talking about earlier, words matter and words matter. Words do matter. Stop calling them women. I agree that words matter. The thing is that the only words they care about are their own. It's the only words they care about. They don't care about any other words.
Those women, Malik has had a lot of women. I love women, period, in the story. But even beyond that, I love people. I love humanity. I love to have an abundant life. And one of the things that I feel my purpose in life is this is how we can all have an abundant life, abundance of information, abundance of resources, abundance of opportunity, abundance of friends. Why do we have to live in a world of lack? Yeah. We live in a world of lack, where people scarcity.
Okay, he's on some stuff that has nothing to do with him wanting to have sex with a man. But Miss Red said it's going to take the gay community to make him stop saying he's not gay. He's not going to stop saying he's not gay, Miss Red, for anybody. Because part of what these men who impersonate women like is they like to have sex with straight men. So if he says that he's gay, he won't be able to have sex with these men. He's not going to be able to get it, and he's not going to be able to take it because, you know, he likes to give the D and take the D. He's not going to be able to do that because, as we saw earlier in this, when he said that he couldn't tell that the redhead one was a man, she got so happy, and the dude sitting next to her, the blonde one, got so happy they were giddy for a good minute over that. And then it was after that he started touching all over that dude for the next hour. So he can never say that he's gay because then he won't get the sex that he wants from these other men because their whole identity is tied up in men who truly like real women wanting to have sex with them. It plays into their delusion. And so he's got to keep the narrative that he's straight to get access to the type of sex that he wants.
You can't do this, you can't do that, you're not allowed to do this, why are you saying this? And I'm saying that is not the only existence that we can live.
And so related to that, Charlamagne, I know I am trying to hold space for people that don't want to care. But two things are sitting with me now. I have a sister who's a ordained minister in Houston, who when she read the story, she hit me up and said, if you're ever in space with Malik Yoba, tell him thank you because I now feel seen.
Wow. So many of
This
those.
is a grown woman
You said that
who's an ordained pastor go there now, which is, right? So again, there are members in the community, black and brown, beautiful, trans women who show up in grace, making space for everybody else who never get acknowledged. March P. Johnson, Sylvia Rivera as examples. She was seen. I have been up here a couple of times. Y'all have invited me into this space. This is September. This is my third year now leading the National Black Justice Coalition. I hope people consider us a resource as they're trying to work through some of this stuff. And I have had friends say to me, David, we don't get this gay shit. We are only interested in even having this conversation and because we care about you. We love you. In the last week, I've had no fewer than 5 friends, one of whom I've known for a decade.
I think what he said is very key. He said that people around him really aren't into it. They don't get the gay stuff, but they like him. And so many people are that way. I mean, we talked about when they were playing the black card earlier. I told you guys, even my man will be like, well, there's still black people. I've heard people here on YouTube be like, well, they are black people. And then the other thing is then it's the people you love. So you guys know Jesse Lee Peterson, that trash box. One of my cousins was on his show. She is homosexual. She is a lawyer. She was on his show. And she is my cousin and she is my blood. But I'm not going to change my stance because I'm related to somebody who is homosexual. She won't be in my house. She won't be around my kids. I don't deal with her at all. We don't talk. Obviously, if our family has, I have ways like online where I communicate with my family. Obviously, she's in that circle because we're related and everybody is in that circle. But that is as far as it goes. But we have to be careful because that is how we're won over. We're won over because of what they look like. Remember what Margaret Sanger said. They won't trust the white doctors. So we train a black doctor, we send the black doctor in and they'll trust him. So we'll have a person with a black face pushing something that is destructive to the community, that is deviant. And in the same breath, When you have, because that's what gay people love to say, right? That's their fear-mongering tactic. Well, what if you had a child that was gay? What if you, da 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 da. They're counting on your love for people who are gay or transgender, because you can hate what a person does. If one of our children becomes a mass murderer today, we're going to probably hate what that person does, but it won't stop us from loving our child. But love looks a lot of different ways. So we don't want to do what clearly his circle of people did, which is become soft on the issue because that's cousin so-and-so. That's auntie so-and-so. That's another Black person. They are counting on the Black community on that level of humanity that we have and love for each other that we have as being their way of infiltration. And make no mistake, this is a white infiltration, because this is their preferred society. This is their preferred society. This is what the pinnacles of white society deem as normal. And we have seen them build societies on this premise in the past. In ancient history, we have seen this. We see that they are more progressive with this in countries that are upwards of 98% white. That they have integrated this mindset into their school systems. Fully integrated it. Not this pseudo integration that we have going on now here in the Americas. So we can't get soft, because people are going to want to get soft when it's their auntie, when it's their uncle, when it's their niece, when it's their nephew, when it's a Black person. That's why it was so important to me to do that video, which I know so many of you found disturbing. And I'm sorry, I told you I wasn't trying to be vulgar. I just wanted, before we went to the other content, for us to have a very clear view of what we're talking about and the depths of the mental illness of these people. That is far past how they choose to dress. This is beyond that.
Call me and say, I now have the language to talk about how I feel. Mm-hmm. Like, this is about... Because you made the... I'm sorry, let me finish the sentence. Right? Because you offered up the language. Right. Because you took up space and said, I am trans attracted. And it wasn't someone who has been a leader of an LGBTQ organization. It wasn't someone who has been in the front of parades or on shows where that has been centered. It was someone talking about living in their fullness of their truth and being ultimately free.
And I can tell y'all, I feel like the freest nigga in America. Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Well, that's why most people hate us, to be clear.
Let me tell you something. Bro. Yeah. That was the one secret in my life. One. That was it. No other shady nonsense. That was it. That's not even shady. No. I'm saying, in addition to that, there was no other. So what I'm saying is that to walk into a space like my boy Anthony Hemingway's party, wedding last week, when you walk into a room with Black folk and everybody knows. See, when you walk in the world with a lot of love that comes your way, I don't say I take it for granted, but it's been more than half of my life that I can't walk down the street without people saying, I really appreciate what you do in the world, right? But when you walk among your own people and you know that they have a question about your integrity, and everyone's giving you the side eye, the people that used to give you the love, that's a very interesting feeling. And one of the things that I've learned in my own public persecution and vilification is no matter how bad it was for me when people talking shit, it ain't as bad as it is for y'all. Yeah, and so I've had a revelation. And my revelation in last week was, if you are choosing to stand with this community that is marginalized, ostracized, vilified, denied, then you need to know what that feels like.
You'll never
because
feel
as a Black man in America, I haven't had to, I don't get a lot of the it's hard being Black in America as a Black man.
No, we definitely get oppressed and marginalized.
But that's what personally, as I moved through this world, yes, I've gotten beaten up by 4 white cops in New York when I was 20 years old. But I also was working with the City Kids Foundation. I took it up with Lee Brown, who was the police commissioner. I said, here's my pain. I'm turning to purpose. Lee Brown, what do I need to do for young black men in this city that are getting beaten up by 4 white cops? Look, I was sexually abused as a kid at 7, at 13. I was shot at 15. We talk about trauma.
Trauma, Lord.
You talk about trauma. I was kicked out the house at 16 with $12 in my pocket, a BMX bike, a guitar in my backpack. And I'm here today to tell you that if we get our minds right.
That's an interesting story, because remember his first encounter with a trans person that he was seriously attracted to was when he was 16. And now he's talking about that was also the time that he was on the street. So I wonder if something went on then that he isn't disclosing.
We understand where abundance really lies. Abundance is all around us. How many drops of water in that ocean? How many grains of sand on that beach? You cannot count it. And so when we go through trauma and we have these heinous experiences as children, we have a couple of choices. Either we can fold under that pressure, or we can get our mind right. We can lean in. We can learn some things about how is it that you process this information, this trauma. How do you turn that pain or that poison into purpose? How do you take those lemons and turn them into lemonade and quench everybody's thirst?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Malik.
And that's what this is about.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. They said you told the general public before you told your kids.
That is not true.
Okay.
That is not true. And this is what I'm saying about black folk on media. There was nothing to tell. Tell what? What was I telling?
But your kids were getting problems now after this, like in school.
Yep.
Oh, he's a liar. You catch that? You catch how he tried to lie? He was like, there was nothing to tell. So no, he didn't tell his kids because there was nothing to tell, according to him. Well, then what was that long darn flipping, what was that, a tweet, a Facebook post? What was that all about if there was nothing to tell? What is this coming out, or what he wants to call it, stepping forward? How do you step forward for nothing? Like, make it all make sense.
The mother of your child is the one who put that out there.
Who?
Was it the mother of your child?
Who was that?
I don't know her name.
I don't know either.
Oh.
I don't know who. I have no idea why or what that was about.
But how are your kids now? Because we heard that they were getting attacked on social media.
But they were. You know what? I was going to bring my 18-year-old here today. I let her stay in bed because that child is one of the most wise people I know. And I said, you know what? We're going to start posting stuff together because the world needs to hear from you, little lady. Listen, because, excuse me?
Listen to the baby.
Listen, she's 18, bro. And I'm like, Dina Yoba has more wisdom in that 18. And all my kids, Josiah, Priya, they're all incredibly gifted kids. But to hear her talk about her perspective, she's basically like, people need to get over it. Humans are humans. So I don't know why y'all adults are tripping. For our generation,
which is where most kids are, so we're clear.
Yeah, right. Most
They're like, why don't y'all get it together?
Yeah, a lot of kids get it.
Yeah, they just didn't appreciate people like, and my siblings. I want to give a shout out to my siblings because they got people.
I just want to say most kids aren't like that. That's not true. Most kids just don't care. Most kids aren't like, I just don't care about that. That's not the case. Maybe that's the case in places like California, or Atlanta, Georgia. But that's not the general consensus throughout the country. So they're grossly misrepresenting how accepted their group of people are.
I look like this nigga.
But you know what? I will say this. I have seen.
I know from my faces. I'm like, I'm trying to relax my face.
I would be attacked every day. But I will tell you this. I have seen women who are trans women get attacked for dating a man, and then it comes out that he's dating a trans woman, and then somehow the woman is the one that's being attacked for dating somebody. Like, oh, she outed him, how dare she? Like, I've seen that happen time and time again on social media, and I think that's crazy. Like, just because you're dating somebody,
but that's a huge conversation about what women do to women, period. It's almost like women often fight women. So it's like it's a conversation that us as sisters have to heal from.
And Jonathan Ross.
I'm just trying to understand how this person has a penis is talking about us as sisters. I don't have sisters with penises. That's not a thing. If anything, that man is my brother. A very confused brother, but a brother, but not a sister. And telling people that this person that looks like a woman really has a penis isn't cattiness from other women, because you're not a woman. It's being like, you think this person is a woman, you think this person is one of us, but that person is a man. There's nothing wrong with, that's not outing you. You are a man. That's not outing you. Just because you're wearing a costume, if somebody goes, oh, that's Shelly over there, or that's Bill over there, that's not outing you. Your costume doesn't stop you from being who you are.
Oh, so she was taking a break.
Carmen Ben said, fuck it.
Yeah,
What you gotta say?
And I was gonna say, I don't even know what I was gonna say at this point.
So talking to people that are listening, what would you say to people out there that's listening that maybe don't know, that's trying to get more communication so they understand? Or even for myself, like, I got 5 kids, so I want to be able to talk to them so they don't grow up like our generation did and just talk stupid, so they understand. You know, that's why the best thing about this conversation is when I go home, I can have this conversation with my kids so they understand.
Oh, this is the moral of the story. We can stop here. This is the moral of the story. How can we as Black people teach Black children to be tolerant of this behavior? And it's so interesting because remember, not even 5 minutes ago, that dude was saying young people, they are totally with the program. It's just you old people who aren't getting it. Well, if just the old people are the problem, then why do we need to have ways to teach our children to be tolerant? If just the old people are the problem, why did that person that's over the Black indoctrination into homosexuality team, why did he say that shows like Pose were so important? Because there were people who never meet gays and transgenders like that in more rural parts of the country. So that's why these people are literally liars. They are liars all in the span of one conversation. Their talking points, they played 2 sides of the same talking point throughout the whole conversation. They're very problematic, to say the least. But, you know, there's about 12 minutes left in this. I think we can pretty much just stop here. Hold on. Because there's no need for us to sit here and listen to indoctrination techniques for our children. But The Breakfast Club is a disgusting show to me. You know, one of the hosts is clearly gay. The female host is useless. I don't even know why she's there. She's not even saying anything. And the argument that was presented here was directly to do nothing but indoctrinate. There was no pushback. There was no challenging. There was no other side of the equation. It was just one perspective, and it was purely propaganda. The whole thing was purely propaganda. And it is insane to me that all this is fueled because Malik Yoba has the hots for that white man that was on there with the silicone breasts. This is all because he had the hots for a white dude. Malik Yoba smacked his Black penis into a white man's penis. And that is why he is on this whole kick. That is crazy to me. When I heard him sit down and say that, I was like blown away. I was like, you mean a white man is behind all this? Literally? That's crazy to me. Exactly, Art. It was just buffoonery. So with that said, I'm going to get out of here, you guys. I'm sorry this was so late. Like I said, I was editing video for my vlog channel, and my computer, it's like very intensive. It was like rendering for 3 hours from Premiere Pro, and I just didn't want to try to be playing video on my computer, and then I couldn't really do a screen share because my whole Premiere Pro window was open. Anyway, long, boring story. I know it's way later where you are than it is where I am, but I'll talk to you guys a little later. I will say this. R is very insistent that I do a video on female to male transition, similar to the one I did for men. I don't know if you guys can sit through another one of those videos, but I definitely don't mind doing it. So maybe I will take a poll that I'll put out sometime tomorrow or something. And then if you guys decide that you want the female to male transition video, remember those videos are graphic. And you might be, if you can believe it, a little more disgusted by the female to male thing, just because it's a little bit weirder, if that's possible. But yeah, just let me know. I'll do a poll and then you guys can tell me if you want that video. So until then, I'm going to get out of here and I will talk to you guys a little bit later. But yeah, I think it's time we stop listening to the Breakfast Club and anybody else who gives any shine to these issues, that we speak with simply not engaging in that level of indoctrination in the future.